They have been guided by the light of dreams. They play to give them shape and come away a winner.
On a flawless night in South Florida, the final football game of 2021, a tremendous matchup. The college football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl. And something rare and special, the third ever meeting between the Michigan Wolverines, champions of the Big Ten, seeded number 2, and the Georgia Bulldogs, seeded number 3. This is the Ram Trucks kickoff. And Alabama awaits the winner here tonight. The Crimson Tide dispatching Cincinnati in Arlington. So no surprise in semifinal number 1. Will be a rematch with Georgia or a rare Alabama-Michigan game. We'll find out here in Hard Rock Stadium. And welcome, folks. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowe, Marty Smith will join us. We have been hyped about this matchup since the bracket came out about a month ago, Kirk. Semifinal number 1, no surprise. The Tide got all the points they needed in their opening drive.
Well, Alabama looked like Alabama. Very workmanlike, not necessarily emotional. They're just kind of doing what they needed to do. Their defense was outstanding. They punched their ticket. Next Monday night, they get another shot for Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide to win a national championship.
Who are they going to face, though? Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, unranked in the preseason, the first ever playoff team that came from nowhere. Jim Harbaugh had his pay cut in half. He hired a bunch of younger coaches. He reinvigorated the program by turning the ownership of this team over to the leaders, guys like Aiden Hutchinson, the top pass rusher in Michigan history, the Heisman Trophy runner-up. And this core of leaders has led Michigan back. Look at the emotions for Hutchinson after they conquered Ohio State in the big house in the snow and then backed it up, Kirk. A 1-2 punch handling the Hawkeyes in Indy.
Well, look at the relief on Jim Harbaugh's face. Aiden Hutchinson has willed this team to a championship and an opportunity in this playoff, but he can't do it alone. Michigan's defense can keep him in this game, but if Michigan's going to win this game, their offense and a balanced attack will have to be on display the way it has for much of this year. Everybody talks about their running game, and it is, don't get me wrong, a big part. It's their identity. They love to run the power play, and they do it a lot of different ways. It starts with that double team. They'll pull around a guard and often a tight end. We know that's their bread and butter, but tonight, they've got to use that to affect the eyes of the Georgia linebackers. Use that where they think they're going to run the ball, and they get the ball outside on the perimeter. Remember, Alabama attacked this Georgia secondary. Michigan has the weapons to try to do the same thing. Again, this is against Ohio State. Everybody's thinking run. Look at the defense flowing one way. You get them aggressive. You go back the other way with a reverse. Josh Gaddis, as a play caller, does a really good job of coming up with different wrinkles or creativity to add in to just that physicality of the run game. So, yeah, they want to run the ball, but they do not want to play Georgia in a phone booth. They got to get out on the edges with the speed that they have at receiver.
Yeah, Gaddis loves gadgets, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Nobody's been able to just beat Georgia with meat and potatoes offensive football. Remember how dominant this defense was all season long. Comparisons being made to the great defenses you've ever seen in the sport. 6.9 points allowed until that defensive meltdown against Alabama when Bryce Young carved them up for 421 passing yards. There's some doubt all of a sudden among Bulldog fans about this defense.
Yeah, we were putting them on a pedestal with some of the greatest defenses of all time. And like you said, it was 12 games of perfection, and then they ran into Bryce Young and Jamison Williams. Now, the secondary, all year long, we wondered if somebody could attack the secondary, especially the safeties in coverage, and it took the final game. Bryce Young had all kinds of time to throw. The receivers made plays against that secondary, especially the double team with the safety that couldn't get back in coverage. And since that handshake, Kirby Smart has had 27 days to get his defense, led by Nakobe Dean, one of the top linebackers in the country, ready. Tonight, it's about controlled chaos as they get ready to avenge that one loss, and they got to get ready for this Michigan offense.
There's no doubt there's some scar tissue on this Georgia team. It's evident, but Dean told us rarely in this sport do you get second chances if you're losing a championship game. The Dogs have one tonight. The Wolverines, meanwhile, playing their most significant football game in almost a quarter century since that championship, yes, in 97. And there is number 97, the end of that Big Ten title drought at 17 years. There's a swag for this group, Kirk. You can feel the vibe is very positive.
As good a leadership and as strong of intangibles as any team that we've seen play in a long time, led by 97-12, Josh Ross on this defense.
Hutchinson and the Wolverines checking this out. Their first CFP appearance. Very few on the Georgia side played a role in their last playoff run for the championship game. Taking it all in. What a journey. Nobody outside of that team gave them a chance to be here.
Including their own fans. They believed.
100-1 shots preseason. But Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines charge out, filled with confidence as 7-point underdogs. The Dogs will enter shortly. We're back in just 60 seconds. You're watching the Ram Trucks kick off. And the Bulldogs take the field for Kirby Smart, his 6th playoff game as a coach, assistant, or head coach. Crowd pretty evenly split here tonight. Maybe a slight edge for Georgia, but it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
Let's take a look at how the SEC and Big Ten have fared in these playoff games. Actually, it's Big Ten against Alabama. Ohio State splitting the 2 games against the Tide, losing the championship game, and Alabama overwhelming Michigan State 5 years ago in the semifinal. How will Georgia respond? Big Jordan Davis, leader of that defense, and Nakobe Dean, the Butkus Award winner, the do-everything linebacker. No one's certain how they'll respond. That's Kirby Smart hopes. That's fire.
That's what makes this so exciting. You know, nobody finished any hotter and with more momentum than Michigan the last couple of weeks, and nobody ended the season more frustration than Georgia. 27 days later, they collide at the Orange Bowl.
It's a Big 12 crew. Officiating tonight, Scott Campbell is the referee. Let's go to him on the field for the coin toss.
Gentlemen, congratulations on reaching the college football playoff semifinal game. This is the Capital One Orange Bowl. I'm Scott Campbell, the referee. Robert Richardson will be tonight's umpire. The president of the Orange Bowl committee, Mr. Jack Seiler, will be presenting the Orange Bowl coin for tonight's toss. Mr. Seiler. The Capital One Orange Bowl shield is heads. The college football playoff logo is tails. Georgia, you're the visiting team. You get the honor to call the toss. Tails is the call. I'm going to flip it and let it hit the... Tails is the call. It is heads. Michigan, you've won. Defer. Michigan has won the toss. We'll defer. You're getting the football. Which direction do you want to kick? Put your backs to that goal line. Georgia over here. Georgia will receive at this end. Shake hands, guys. Let's have a great playoff game.
Let's hear from Kirby Smart now, down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, you're getting the football with the pressure and the edge rushers that they have on this defensive line. What do you do early on offense to make sure you can contain them?
You got to change it up. You got to pitch to them a little bit, not do the same things over and over. They got good edge rushers, and we got some guys that we expect to block.
Thank you so much. Marty, let's check in with you.
Thank you, Holly. Coach, we made it. What was your final message to your team tonight before you took the field?
I told them they've been preparing for this since last February. They believe in each other. Their resolve is strong. It's hard. This is the next step. Go let it rip. It's time to go.
Thank you, Coach. Enjoy it. Chris?
That's a piece of history. He's never done a pre-kickoff interview before.
That was awesome. That was awesome. First time he's done that, and you get a little feel of the energy and what he's bringing to the table tonight, sharing with his team.
Harbaugh says he attacks each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And it's reflected in this group. Trust in the defense, Kirk. They win the toss, and they'll put Stetson Bennett, Zamir White in that offense with Brock Bowers, the All-American freshman tight end, their main pass-catching weapon. They'll get the football first.
Opportunity to try to allow Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator from Georgia, to get Samir White. And this offense led by Stetson Bennett just kind of get him into a flow. Remember, things did not go well. They got behind against Alabama, got into a predictable play-calling situation. Tonight, they want to run the ball, and they want to have play action.
Saw Todd Monken, who calls the plays. He and Kirby Smart fiercely defending Stetson Bennett, who threw for a lot of yards but made a lot of mistakes in that loss to Alabama. 40 degrees and cloudy in Ann Arbor, 35 degrees warmer here in South Florida. Here we go, the anticipated collision between the Wolverines and the Bulldogs, with the Crimson Tide awaiting the winner. Jake Moody, excellent kicker, typically allows no returns. Kenny McIntosh is deep for the Dogs just in case. It's a high kick, and that's McIntosh stepping up at the 6. And good cover until the Wolverines knock him down near the 20-yard line. Here comes Stetson Bennett. Well-traveled. Many of you know his story. Came as a walk-on, then went to junior college, Mississippi, comes back, wins the starting job, but hasn't escaped criticism ever how well he's played.
No, and what you just said is not your normal story for a quarterback. Went as a walk-on, left, got offered a scholarship to leave that junior college, and as you said, with JT Daniels and other quarterbacks, he's always been questioned from his own fan base, and even coming off of that SEC championship game. Continues to block out the noise and lead this team on this side of the ball.
Zamir White, they call him Zeus. Starts at tailback to the right of Bennett, and he's got the football, and he's got a positive first-down play, banging for about 9. Brad Hawkins got him to the ground. Here's the Chick-fil-A impact players, Kirk.
Well, we know Georgia, much like Michigan, they like to run the football, get their backs involved. We talked about how they want to be a team that wants to run downhill and set up their play action. James Cook, though, is a wild card. He'll come in for White. They'll throw the football to him. Brock Bowers leads a talented group of tight ends. We've talked all night about Aiden Hutchinson off the edge and Josh Ross. Both these guys, the alphas, the anchors of this defense emotionally.
And 2nd and 1, do they take a risk here? Looking to throw, easy access, and that's A.D. Mitchell, the freshman wide receiver, a first down to the 45.
That's a run-pass option. He saw the soft corner, so instead of handing that ball off, he decides to get the ball out. Fortunate they didn't get called for a man downfield. Schaefer, the left guard, was about 5 yards downfield. That's the risk you take when you have a run-pass option. So give Stetson Bennett credit. He sees the soft corner with DJ Turner back, decides to just pick up the easy first down with a quick pass.
Regular alignment up front. That's a relief for Georgia fans. Cedric Van Pran missed the last significant practice here with a fever, but he's okay. And this is the regular 5 that they practice with for 14 practices. Bennett under pressure, delivers downfield. It's Brock Bowers who goes high to make the catch, and the Dogs are threatening in the red zone.
Now this is the challenge with these 2 tight ends off to your left. Darnell Washington gets vertical, and he holds the safety. Little wheel route with the other tight end, Bowers, and because this the corner, actually, DJ Turner had to respect that. You've got a linebacker running downfield with the fleet-footed tight end, Brock Bowers. Tough matchup.
What a beautiful fingertip catch for by far the leading receiver on this football team. 4 receivers to the right on 1st and 20. Bennett gets it to Bowers, who's got blockers. He's not just a blazer, he's a bulldozer too.
But just for people that are watching this Georgia offense, they are a tough offense to get ready for because of their tight ends. Those tight ends, Brock Bowers is getting a lot of opportunities here early, 19 as a true freshman. But Darnell Washington, you also will see 6'7", 265. What's tough about them is they can line up as tight ends, and you put in big defensive personnel, and then they'll flex out, and now you got to defend them out in space, and they've got the skill set of a wide receiver. They're a tough matchup.
3 of them, Kirk, lined up to the left right here on 2nd and 3. Light block at 3. White running behind those tight ends, but the Wolverines closed it down. Brad Hawkins, the safety, knife through, stopped him at the line of scrimmage.
Now the red zone for both of these offenses, as any game, but especially a game with this much energy and this much anticipation, who's going to score touchdowns down in the red zone? Who's going to struggle and have to settle for field goals? That'll tell you, I think, a lot. you get to see these teams move the ball, but down in the red area where it gets tight, and you got to make quick decisions. Who's going to win in this area?
Harbaugh believes that short yardage plays are a massive key tonight. Here's one of them. Dogs need one.
Gets Michigan set up, looks over just to confirm, makes an adjustment.
Kirby winding down.
Kirby at the top. Yeah, Kirby
spotted that.
Yep. He was tiptoeing down, waiting to see if he might get the snap off, and such an important play here early. Gets the timeout.
A lot going on inside the quarterback's head in that play.
Timeout on the field.
Crucial play early here with the Dogs on the march in Miami. Georgia's moved it 69 yards in their first 5 plays. Nice run-pass mix. Brock Bowers, who waited a long time to get involved against Alabama, didn't call number 19's number in Atlanta until they were well behind. Involved in this opening possession.
They got 3 tight ends. This is a lot of 12 personnel and 13, meaning 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 1 running back in 3 tight ends. Here, they go with a 1 running back and a 3 tight ends. 2 of them all off to the right. Bowers by himself. Now they'll shift around.
Now all 3 are on the left.
Yep. Look at the confusion with Michigan.
White smashes forward, and he'll get a 1st and goal, barely at the 9-yard line before Josh Rosh got him down.
You know, for fans at home, you wonder, why are they moving around before the snap? Watch how Michigan adjusts to that. You move a couple tight ends. Watch Michigan. Look at Aiden Hutchinson. He's trying to get Harold 32. No, dude, you got to get over. You got to get over. And Harold gets over. By the time he gets over there, it's late. So little movement for both these offenses is so important to make defenses show discipline, communication, and then get aligned to be able to be gap sound.
Good to see that Dax Hill is there. He did not come down with the team. Reports it was COVID, but number 30, key safety for the Wolverines, is in there. On 1st and goal, Bennett to Bowers. And Brock Bowers scores, and Georgia draws first blood. And the freshman tight end plays a huge part in that opening possession. 3 catches.
And hesitation from the safety. Eyes in the backfield, looking at the play action fake. Look at the top. Watch the safety bite, hesitate, wait, and by the time he reacts, Hawkins cannot get there. Bowers has, again, the speed of a wide receiver. Nice job of Bennett. All drive, Chris. Ball, every time he threw, the ball is out fast. Not letting Hutchinson and that defensive pressure get to him. That time, just a mental error by Brad Hawkins, not seeing Bowers go out to the flat.
High snap, gotten down nicely by Jake Camarda, and Jack Leslie drives it through. You can see that Todd Monken determined to get their best offensive player, even though he's a freshman, from Napa, California. Very quiet, businesslike, determined guy, a physical freak, but it's his work ethic, his maturity that's impressed him most.
Yeah, the maturity, I think, is just so unpredictable. You know, in recruiting, you don't always get to know these guys' wiring. It's one thing to look at him and watch him on film. You know, this is a very unique talent. Look at him. Keep in mind, this, again, he's a true freshman. When you look at him, he looks like an NFL tight end right now, and he's a true freshman. But to see his focus and to see how hard he works, despite all the pats on the back, he just is more determined now than he's ever been.
Yeah, he does some training in Napa. Watch him in the spring here running up hills and just sending that video to Georgia, proving I'm getting ready for my freshman year. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. And it's a guy he's just on a mission about his goals and what he wants to do. He comes all the way across the country. And he had a heck of a drive there, but it's just a very, very focused and determined young athlete, and makes his presence felt here early. 3 receptions on that drive, 51 yards already, and a touchdown.
A couple of records already in the books. That opening possession, 50th catch. That's a record for Georgia tight ends, and his 12th receiving touchdown. That's a season record for any position. So now Cade McNamara, the junior from Reno, like Bennett, a good athlete, a good scrambler, but a smart guy, and a guy who's found his voice as a leader throughout this season.
You know, the one thing when I watch him play, the first thing I wanted to ask the Michigan guys, does he have baseball in his background? Because of his arm angle. It's not like he's trying to drop his arm angle. It comes very naturally to him, almost like a shortstop flipping it across the infield. And you'll see that tonight if Georgia gets pressure and he gets the ball out. He's very decisive, gets the ball out quick.
Hassan Haskins, the senior from St. Louis, almost 1,300 rushing yards this season, is the tailback, but a misfire for the Wolverines, a false start.
I think the center may have flinched there.
Number 68, offense. penalty.
Don't expect that from Andrew Bastardas, the sixth-year senior, the man they call Gramps.
Yeah.
Been there forever.
Yeah, and he's the leader. Watch 68 in the middle. He just kind of flinches right there, and that's enough for the umpire to feel that and make the call, get behind the sticks. So important for Michigan's offense. When you watch them against Ohio State and Iowa, their bigger games, they stayed on schedule, which is so big for any offense, but especially the way this offense for Josh Gaddis operates.
Jordan Davis, Outland Trophy winner, weighs about 360, right across from Bastardas, and now McNamara escapes pressure. Very effective scrambler, straight up the field, and dives for a first down to the 38.
Watch him recognize the linebackers to get into man-to-man. They do not fear or respect McNamara as a run threat, so they're going to clear out. They're more concerned about him throwing the ball. He has not shown much of this all year. To his credit, he's prepped. He knows how much man-to-man they play. Ready to roll on his first pass, and he pulls it down and gets a first down.
18-yard gain. And it's a flea flicker. McNamara dumps it down, and the catch is made by Haskins. So the first flea flicker of the game, the first gadget play, a short gain.
Well, Kirby Smart, I talked to him again today just for some final details. Watch 16 in the middle. That's who they're hoping bites up. That's seen, but instead he stays back. So what does McNamara do instead of just throwing it away? He's been doing this all year. Check it down, man. No problem. Instead of throwing it down at 2nd and 10, he checks it down at 2nd and 5.
Donovan Edwards, part of that tailback stable, runs right over Scene. First down, Wolverines near midfield.
This is Michigan football right here. Get you worrying about the pass. Look at the left side of that offensive line. Keegan, Hayes, they collapse that Georgia edge and open that up for Edwards.
Tactical tempo tonight. Edwards in the backfield makes the catch and ducks under the tackle of Nakobe Dean. They want to wear out this big Georgia bodies, don't they?
Yeah, you know, if you're not familiar with watching Michigan, Hassan Haskins gets most of the attention. Blake Corum had an ankle against Northwestern and missed about 4 games, came back late, but he was kind of 80%. Meanwhile, young Donovan Edwards has become a fixture and a dynamic wrinkle in this offense. 7, keep an eye on him. You're getting a little taste of him early in this game.
5-star recruit out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Haskins, they call him 2H. With a gain down to the 41.
Can't wait to watch Nakobe Dean tonight, the leader of this defense, number 17. Much like Aiden Hutchison and Josh Ross, he is not just a guy that makes plays. Young man that graduated in 3 years in Athens, mechanical engineering with a 3.5. You want to talk about an impressive guy? Sit down and talk to Nakobe Dean. This guy is not just a great football player, he's a great leader. Doing it on and off the field for Georgia.
No doubt. Corum, one of those backs you mentioned in the game, split wide to the left here. 3 receivers bunched to the right. McNamara has time off the hands of Luke Schoonmaker, one of the Michigan tight ends. It was tipped at the line.
Yeah, Nolan Smith got his hand on it. They twist a lot, try to affect the communication, but Michigan does a good job of giving him time. Watch for Nolan Smith. He can't get there, but he does get that left hand up. And if he doesn't, that's a first down.
Offense on the field, Kirk, on 4th and 4 from the Dogs 41. So Harbaugh trying to answer Georgia's early touchdown. Taking a risk here.
Going empty. Ball's got to be out fast.
Dogs bring some pressure. McNamara gets it out. It's incomplete. Hurried just enough that Eric All couldn't collect it. And the Wolverines turn it over on downs. And Smart with a big running chest bump of his guys on the far side.
Yeah, just a little bit late with Cade McNamara. Watch the route with All. Ball's out now. He's got a chance. Just one more hitch. I think got him off of his balance and his rhythm. Ball's too far where All just doesn't have a chance to make a play for that first down.
Dogs take over, up 7.
Playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure. Lincoln. This winter, wish for the unexpected. And Taco Bell.
So it's the first meeting in the color TV era. The two meetings in 57 and 65 in the Big House. Split by these two teams. Vince Dooley, the winner, got carried off in the Big House. Coach is 89 years old. Turned that age when Georgia beat Clemson in the opener. And of course, Jim Harbaugh's coach, Bo Schembechler.
Great to see Lloyd Carr on the field. Haven't seen him in a couple years. Had a chance to, you and I both had a chance to shake his hand and say hello. I know he is incredibly proud and fired up to have his Wolverines here in this game. Remember that first drive, Georgia went right down the field. They attacked the edge of this Michigan defense, especially the corners. How do they respond here?
It was White in the opening series. Now James Cook, Miami native, is in the backfield. They flip it off to Ladd McConkey, who gets around the edge and weaves for a nice gain on first down before Hawkins drove him out.
You know, Georgia's offense this year, look at their average length of touchdown drive, and it's one of the shortest in the country, 61 yards. 61 yards, fourth shortest in Power 5. So their defense playing complementary football, giving them the ball often, like this drive. About their own 41-yard line to set up Stetson Bennett in the offense. Pretty nice when you're scoring most of your drives starting the drive at your own 40.
And last-second adjustments as the play clock winds down, and they give it to Cook, who makes the cut in the clear. James Cook inside the 30, finishing up his career in the same building as his big brother Dalvin did against the Wolverines in the Orange Bowl.
Watch Erickson come down and then climb, which is so important against this defense and what they can do because they want to get downhill. 50 there does a nice job getting his hat just enough on Ross. Also saw McClendon able to seal that.
21-yard gain. Bennett looked that way, now does feed it to Cook, who is wide open. He accelerates and is knocked down after a 7-yard gain. He's inspired tonight, being back in his hometown, playing here for the first time.
Yeah, he watched his older brother Dalvin play in this bowl game against Michigan when he was at Florida State. Incredibly fired up, incredibly talented younger brother. James is a great runner, but he also can get out, catch the ball. He's almost like a receiver when they decide to motion him out. There's his mom.
He would know that running back screens have hurt this Michigan defense this year.
Yeah.
McIntosh and White, a two-back look now on 2nd and 3. And they get to McIntosh, who motioned out. He's got a block on the edge. Wolverines gang up on him and tackle him at the 20, a yard short of the marker. To Holly.
You talk about James Cook running inspired tonight, and it's true. He was not able to play in Georgia's bowl game last year after his father, James, passed away suddenly. It is 1 year yesterday from the death of his father, and here he is playing in this stadium just a few miles away from where he grew up. I know it means a lot to him tonight, thinking of his father, James.
Miami Central High School. Cook out of the game now. White back in here on 3rd and 1. He takes the pitch, and the Wolverines stop him, but not before he's got a first down back in the red zone.
They went with a kind of a sugar huddle, a quick huddle there to try to get Michigan out of position, and it actually worked. They outnumbered them. Michigan did not really, you see Hawkins there pointing. They don't have enough bodies out there because of that quick huddle. Pretty easy for White to pick up the first down. Right now we're seeing quick passes out to the perimeter and the edge from Bennett. Easy throws to try to get their athletes in space. And then we're seeing a power run in between. It's just kind of a mix and match for Todd Monken.
Mix and match is working very well. McIntosh is going to throw it. Lobs to the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Mitchell. Georgia trickery. 2 possessions, 2 scores.
Tell you something, man. The sell by Kenny McIntosh, and you're a defender. Watch Michigan have to respond to him. He looks like he's running the football. Look at the Michigan defense concerned. He looks like that ball is going to be run, and instead, all those blue jerseys, and he's got A.D. Mitchell alone in the end zone. Great play call by Todd Monken.
Freshman from Texas catches his 3rd touchdown. Wolverines had a halfback pass for a touchdown in their conference championship game by Donovan Edwards. It's the Dogs who answer. Michigan in a very unfamiliar position. They have not been a come-from-behind team this season, down 14 in the first quarter. Beautiful night. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Anything can happen as long as you have the drive. Goodyear, more driven. New Year's Day begins at 1 o'clock Eastern in terms of the bowl coverage. ESPN, Oklahoma State takes on Notre Dame in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. We'll be thrilled to join you from Pasadena, the granddaddy of them all. Zip over there after this one. Utah Utes and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Fun one at night in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Baylor and Ole Miss. Well, Kirk, the Wolverines have given up 14 points here. They had not allowed a first quarter touchdown since the opening game against Western Michigan. A total of 22 points all year allowed in the first quarter. So playing from behind is unfamiliar. The biggest deficit all season long was just 4 points. AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship game. Look at what happened in Arlington. Brian Robinson, a 200-yard rushing game, career high. He was the story offensively.
He really was. I mean, everybody's concerned about Jamison Williams, but instead it was B-Rob. I mean, he's a guy that's had to pay his dues and get his opportunities. It's great to see him be able to do that. And short Ja'Cory Brooks stepping up with John Mechie down, and Alabama once again in the national championship.
What's your message to Cade McNamara, Kirk, who finds himself in a rare position here?
Well, you got McCarthy into the game right here as a changeup. They've been putting him in all year as a guy who probably is the future of this offense, but really at this stage in 2021 has been the wrinkle or kind of the athletic change of pace quarterback, but they're not often. You'll see him go out for one play and come out. And right now he's staying out there.
More often you'll see him in the middle of a series, as you said, but he's got the Wolverines possession here.
Highly touted recruit for Michigan. See the confidence that they have in him. Down 14, putting him into the game.
Excellent runner, as you said, but he can also sling it. More arm talent than McNamara. He's handing off inside, but nothing doing. They may not be open for business tonight. Haskins slammed down by Trayvon Walker.
But Trayvon Walker, I mean, again, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Wyatt, they get a lot of attention. Most talented guy on that front. Look at him. Look at him work through that polling center. Bastardis just goes right through him with power and burst. I mean, he's 280 pounds moving around like that.
McNamara, Kirk, back in here for this 3rd and 5 play and some early urgency, down 2 scores. Corum is the back. Blitz, ball out, catch made, and the first down.
That's a
Jalen Baldwin.
Watch this pressure, Chris, on Cade McNamara. It's 3rd down. I mean, you're down 14. He gets hit by Walker as soon as he throws it. Focus downfield on Baldwin. He's got press coverage. He sells it like he's going downfield, comes out of it, and the timing is perfect that time by Cade McNamara. Great job there on 3rd down. They brought the house.
It's tough when you're a quarterback, having played 1st or 2nd down, come in, face that heavy pressure, but he executed. Take it to Haskins. McNamara wanted to take a shot downfield, and he'll get swallowed up by the pass rush. Nobody open. Jalen Carter was there. Robert Beal got him.
Well, that's just great coverage downfield. You'll see, you know, one thing that Michigan wants to do is try to get the tight ends involved. It's good coverage downfield. They do a nice job of using the safeties here to take away the crossing route. So he's got time, but look at that crosser. It's taken away. Great communication on the back end. All he could do was eat it. Usually checks it down, but the check down had to pick up the blitz. There was nobody to check it down to.
42nd sack of the season for the Dogs. They had none against the Tide. And the ball is batted in the air and knocked down. That's Quay Walker. McNamara, not a tall guy, listed at 6'1", and the Dogs have a lot of long, big defenders.
Yeah, and normally he goes around that pressure. Quay Walker at 6'4", a linebacker, untouched, just gets his hands up. And you can see again, he's had a lot of success in the Big Ten with pressure in his face, kind of working around that pressure. But that time, I think Walker got on him too quickly, And by the way, if that ball gets around Walker, there's a lot of yards. But it's the second time a ball batted back down into McNamara's face.
As Corum motions back in 3rd and 16. He's got the football, but he can't escape Nakobe Dean. And the All-American linebacker gets the Dogs defense off the field. What a play.
Well, Nakobe Dean followed him in motion. You see a linebacker walk down, you know that it's man-to-man. Nakobe Dean comes across the entire field. I mean, one sideline to the other.
Wow.
You talk about range from a middle linebacker. Michigan wants that matchup. Blake Corum against a middle linebacker out in space, but not against Nakobe Dean. He's got the skill of a safety.
Dean, a junior, very high on the draft boards. And it's Brad Robbins to kick it away. Stepping up and taking a fair catch is Jackson. So the Dogs in control here late first quarter. Back to work, up 14. Kirky, they use both of their top running backs, Blake Corum and Hassan Haskins.
And watch Haskins hit Zamir White, Georgia's starting running back. They're going toe-to-toe. Corum's in the middle. He's going after Georgia's Amir Speed, and some frustration with Michigan. Ironic, both of their starting running backs. You'd like to see that, but you don't like to see them losing their cool.
Both teams use a lot of starters, elite players on their special teams.
How does Michigan, Mike McDonald, been this defense, been the face of this team all year. Aiden Hutchinson, the leadership of this team. Down 14, they need to step up here.
George Pickens, number 1, still trying to work his way back from the knee surgery, on the field for the first time tonight. But they hand it off inside, and it's Cook plowing forward for a first down. Good to see Pickens, who's so talented, but held to just 3 catches this year. It's taken him a long time. The bowl practices have helped. Hoping to make a contribution tonight. Had a couple of catches against Alabama.
I was looking at him in warm-ups down the field, and he looked the best he has looked since he's come back from that ACL. And a player that Michigan's secondary is well aware of. Got to keep him in front of him.
The difference maker if he's even close to 100%. 2nd and 6. Hutchinson got off the mark early. Free play for Bennett, who lofts it down, and the catch is made by Burton.
Well, you got one
official on the field as the receiver was out of bounds.
Check if they set him out of bounds. You knew he had a free play. He's aware that Hutchinson tries to get an early jump on the snap count. They're trying to trick him.
Offside, number 97. Defense at the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty.
Part of the game plan.
Yeah, of course. Did you see the little smirk by Bennett? The smirk is because of the clap. Instead of going hut hut, it's just a clap to try to get him to jump, and it worked. Got him. They're just trying to anything they can do to help the offensive tackles to slow him down, and he did a nice job of mixing that in there.
That time it was the second clap, and again, they'll change that up. Well aware of 97's game-wrecking ability. 3 tight ends all to the left. And they get it out in the perimeter. Bowers is swallowed up by Hutchinson. Those are 2 for future NFL players colliding.
Yeah, but Chris, watch the reaction by Aiden Hutchinson. He saw what you saw. So instead of coming here, he immediately goes out there thinking that they're going to throw the ball out there. That's what allowed him to make that play. So it's the awareness. I mean, it's a 9 technique, a wide 9 with the awareness to be able to see those 3 tight ends and do a nice job of getting a tackle for a loss.
Dogs dominate the first quarter, 141 yards to 42, and they did it by 2 scores. You're watching the Capital One Orange Bowl on ESPN. Set for the second quarter, semifinal number 2. College football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl. All Dogs so far. Michigan's defense desperate to get off the field here on a 3rd down and 3 play.
That's 2nd and 1. Nice play by Hutchinson. At least gives Michigan's defense here a chance. But it's been tough matching up with the speed, the play calling right now of Todd Monken.
Cook is the back. You fake it to him, and it's a slant, and the catch is made. And that is an impact play by George Pickens. They've got a first down. Good coverage or tight coverage by Turner.
It really was tight coverage, but the length of George Pickens is tough for Turner to get around. He's undersized. He's in phase there, but he's just too big.
Bennett across the middle trying to get it to the giant tight end Darnell Washington, the guy they call Big O. Hawkins hit him, and he is down on the field. An imposing, impressive-looking tight end who went up and housed the Crimson Tide's defense for Georgia's first touchdown there in Atlanta.
Hawkins is kind of the glue guy on the back end, a 3-year starter, a graduate, played a lot of football, does a nice job. They're mixing up their coverage back there. They had 2 safeties, 2 high safety look from Mike McDonald, allowed Hawkins to come over and dislodge that football.
First incompletion for Bennett after a 9-for-9 start. He looks to be needing help to the sidelines. Monday, Alabama awaiting the winner. Georgia looks like a team determined to stage a rematch, not only of the classic championship overtime loss to the Tide in Atlanta, but another loss back in that same building in the SEC championship game. Michigan defense, Kirk, been backpedaling on first down. Dogs have had a lot of success. Solid gains on first down so far. Bring pressure off the edge. Bennett slings it out to Jackson, and another excellent first down play. They got about 7.
Well, that's the risk you take. You got to dial up some pressure. I mean, they end up bringing Hill, but now if they get the ball out, now you got to get off blocks. Now you got to tackle in space.
Nose of the ball in Michigan territory. Less than a yard on third down. And McIntosh avoids traffic in the backfield. Hill wrestles him down, but it is a first down.
Yeah, Josh Ross trying to get downhill on a nice blitz, but he picks the gap, but he ends up going to the left of the center, Van Pran, and good patience that time by McIntosh to pick up that first down. You're right. I mean, it seems like they are, Georgia, very different from the Alabama game. They're playing on their terms. That was a key in this game against this talented Michigan defense. Could they be at 2nd and 4 and 3rd and 2 tonight and have a balanced attack?
Saw Hawkins back in the game. Bennett play action on first down. Shows his scrambling ability. Escapes and weaves his way for a big gain down to the 26-yard line. Stetson Bennett is shifty in space, isn't he?
Well, yeah. For all the Georgia fans that question the decision by Kirby and Todd Monken of playing Stetson Bennett, this is why he plays. Look at Aiden Hutchinson. He's been chasing down every quarterback he sees, but this time he's able to run away from him, picks up some nice blocks downfield.
He gets the ball to White in the flat. 20-yard gain for the quarterback. That's a start for Bennett.
A 20-yard gain that was going to be a sack. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson is coming in from the blind side, and he just felt it. Like he stepped up away from that pressure, and then he took off and used his speed. So instead of a 5-yard loss, 20-yard gain, and you keep the drive moving.
Hutchinson breathing heavy here.
Yeah.
He rarely comes off the field.
Yeah, and don't forget now, not just chasing Stetson Bennett. It's hot, and it's humid out here in Miami.
Different conditions for Michigan. They all commented on that. Practices when they first got here were tough. Bennett has a nice pocket. He had misfired, trying to get the ball to Big John Fitzpatrick.
I thought
on the same page.
I thought the left tackle that time moved a little early. Sawyer. I think Jim Harbaugh did too. He shrugged his shoulders. In fact, he's talking to the official right now, and the left tackle moved. I think he's asking him about. I think he got off to a little bit of a head start. The other side at the top, maybe just a step early, but a no call. But it is 3rd and long. See what Michigan does.
Yeah, the average third down yardage needed tonight, 1.5. Big reason why the Dogs are 4 for 4 so far.
They got 6 guys walked up. Are they just showing and dropping, or are they going to bring it?
They bring it, but the ball's out quickly. Bobbled and incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Fitzpatrick again. Couldn't hold on. And here comes the field goal team.
Yeah, and this is part of what they wanted to do, is try to get him the 3rd down and then turn loose not just 97 and 55 off the edge, but try to mix up the looks and cause some confusion. It's actually a pretty good ball. He's going to be short of the first down, but goes right through the hands of Fitzpatrick.
Doug Leslie was a walk-on, then he kicked a game-winning field goal to beat Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl. Awarded with a scholarship, and he has responded with a very, very strong season. 18 for 22. This from 47, and it will get inside that left upright. So Georgia moves at 49 yards and has scored on all 3 possessions so far. The Bowl Committee does a lot of good in South Florida, including renovating parks. This is the Orange Bowl field at Mitchell Moore Park. Beautiful field for youth football players. $21.5 million have been donated to revitalize parks throughout South Florida. You know, the Orange Bowl lost a beloved member of the organization, a good friend to so many of us. Larry Wall was a longtime VP of communications, worked for the Miami Hurricanes for many, many years, New York Yankees before that, and succumbed to a battle with cancer at the age of 67. Remembering Larry and his achievement, his career warmly tonight. We miss him.
Anytime you're down in Miami, around the Orange Bowl, Larry was always around. Good man. Well, let's see what Michigan's offense and Cade McNamara can do. They have obviously struggled. Only 12 passing yards, 30 yards on the ground. The field almost feels like it's slanted here early in this game, favoring Georgia.
Sure does. They had the possession where they tried to answer Georgia's touchdown, but couldn't convert in that 4th and 4, and that was crucial. Well, trying to send out 2021 in style. It has been a season to remember, breaking that spell against the Buckeyes with that victory, the first Big Ten championship in a generation since '04. First ever playoff appearance in their most significant game since that 1997 national championship. Wood Carr here, coach of that team.
Got to remember, 12-26 still in the second quarter, 17-0. You continue to stay with all your film study for a month to get ready for Georgia. There's no reason to panic.
My goodness, Jordan Davis showed some quickness for a monstrously huge human being running down Corum.
Yeah, he's 360 pounds, and look how the most impressive thing is how he gets off of blocks. I mean, uses his hands, pushes through, and then the speed. I'm going to say speed at 360 pounds. They set the edge. They allowed the big fella Davis to chase him down. And again, they can't get any positivity on 1st and down. They're behind the sticks again.
Davis was 9th in the Heisman Trophy voting, played less than 300 snaps for this Georgia defense, but won the Outland Trophy. McNamara zips a quick pass, and the catch is made by Mike Sanristel, the gritty, dirty work type receiver on this core, and he's got a game that'll set up a 3rd and short.
Well, they blitz Tyndall, the linebacker. McNamara sees it, hits the ball out. That's what you're used to seeing from Michigan. It's not necessarily always downfield. It's attacking the interior of defenses and finding the soft spot. The time he did that gives them a chance here on 3rd and 1.
Haskins, and he does get the first down. Cade with 5 completions, Kirk, but just for 22 yards. Haven't been able to stretch the field at all or take advantage of what Bryce Young was able to do. Find those gaps in the middle of the defense.
That's right. That's right. And when I think about Michigan, I think about Hassan Haskins and becoming the Iron Man from this team once Corum went down. And that's just, I think, his 3rd carry, 4th carry now for just 12 yards. It's like McCarthy back into the game.
His 2nd appearance, and keeps it. Has to make a move on the edge. They're ready for him running. It's a very heavy tendency to run the ball when he comes in, and Nolan Smith got him down.
Yeah, Jalen Carter takes away the run, and then you have Nolan Smith who's saying, okay, I've seen this. I know what happens when 9 comes in. They take away both. 88 takes the run, and then you got Nolan Smith on the outside. Great discipline there by Georgia's defense.
So McNamara back in the game on 2nd and 9.
There's an alert for Georgia when they see 9 go in their quarterback, and they start thinking about quarterback keep off that zone read.
Dogs bring some pressure. McNamara launching downfield, and it's caught by Roman Wilson. The first downfield shot for the Wolverines, and they're in the red zone. Beat Kendrick.
Roman Wilson has become the guy as far as attacking downfield, one-on-one with Kendrick, and just goes by him. Does a nice job of setting up the route, Kendrick, I think, surprised by the speed of Wilson, and a heck of a throw by Cade McNamara right on target. And that's what Michigan needed there to get themselves to get going and believe that they can move the ball against this defense.
Almost as many yards on that play, 42, as they had in total offense before the play. And can they get 7 in the red zone? You fake the reverse, and he's swarmed by Dean. It took too long to develop with number 17 in the game.
You always have to be aware, especially in the red zone, of Nakobe Dean. It's not just that he's going to blitz. It's the awareness that he blitzes with. Doesn't even think about buying on to that reverse. His job and assignment is to take away the quarterback if he comes off the edge or comes on play action. Nolan Smith's there as well. Michigan has been scouting these blitzing linebackers all month, but that time, Nakobe Dean, great job there on 1st and 10.
Yeah, Ryan Hayes, the tackle, was no match for him. On 2nd and 18, McNamara feels pressure again, escapes, and he'll make a short gain back to the 25, but it'll be 3rd and 15. Carter got him that time.
How about the job Dan Lanning said? You know what? That seems to be working. I like blitzing these backers. Let's blitz them again. Same tune. Nolan Smith getting in there and off to the left. The reason he had to step up is because of Nakobe Dean.
They were second-guessed a lot, weren't they? They didn't blitz much against Bryce Young. He hurt him badly.
Couldn't get home all night. When they did, he scrambled and made that secondary pay. Again, the way Alabama got after Georgia was throwing the ball against the secondary.
3rd and 16, play clock at 2. That time only a 3-man rush. It's a quick pass to Eric All, the tight end, but way short of the first down. Scene stopped them. Here comes a field goal attempt.
And show pressure and then get out and then bring it off the left with Tyndall, but it's picked up. He has time, but just a pass just to give him a better chance at a field goal. No chance of picking up the first down.
Jake Moody, the first Lou Groza Award winner from Michigan for the top kicker. 22 of 24 this season. It's from 36 yards to get the Wolverines on the board. Georgia's been a good field goal block team, but Moody gets the ball up very quickly and knocks it through. 57-yard drive, still a 14-point deficit. Along with the contributions to the university's general scholarship funds for every field goal and PAT, Allstate also donated to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thanks to Allstate. Wolverines finally on the board. Aiden Hutchinson, helmet off there. He's played a lot. He's been running a lot. Jalen Carter and that Dogs defense stiffening in the red zone.
Turned up the heat, led by Dean with those blitzes.
Still feels, Kirk, like this Michigan defense is going to have to make a play, create a turnover. Not easy to do against the Dogs this season, but do something to establish momentum. Mike McDonald is the play caller, youthful 34-year-old. He spent 4 seasons as an Athens, kind of a quality control guy when Mark Richt was the coach. Then, of course, went to the Ravens, worked for John Harbaugh, and John recommended that Mike move over and take the defensive coordinator's job for his younger brother. And he said, are you sure? He said, I think it'd be good for you.
Yeah, pretty impressive what he's been able to achieve in his young coaching career, and has been really the talk of the nation, the job that Michigan's defense and the way they played all year. But you're right. I think they not only got to get turnover, they got to get Georgia off the field.
And McDonald searching for answers tonight. That's Bowers, who had 3 catches in the opening drive. It's his 4th catch. Rod Moore knocked him down. You see the vast improvement. 2020 was kind of an asterisk year with COVID, and went 2-4 that year. But look at the numbers this year.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I know all of us on our crew, we got into Ann Arbor and did a lot of Michigan games over the years with Don Brown, defensive coordinator. Big fan of his and the job that he did there. And you know, sometimes you need a change. You need to get the different scheme in. That's what they've done, and it's worked out. It's worked out this year. They're playing a lot better, but they're going to have to step up, make some plays. The leaders of this team are on this side of the ball.
Handoff inside. Hutchinson involved on that tackle. Don Brown, now the head coach at UMass, and McDonald brings a much more youthful energy. Let's face it, sometimes a fresh blood can reinvigorate a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They have fed off of his energy, the really entire defensive staff. You got a third down here. Georgia trying to eat that clock, keep moving the ball, using those tight ends, winning that line of scrimmage. They're going to move Cook, who's so talented. Cook to the outside, off to the right. He's got a linebacker, the freshman Colson, matched up with him.
Bowers is off to the right. Wolverines got a couple of guys eyeballing number 19.
Look at Hutchinson moving inside.
Bennett has protection and launches downfield. It's caught by Cook. And he's wrestled down at the 15. The Miami native makes a huge play.
Anybody knows when you move Cook out there, if they're going to put a linebacker out there, you're going to take a shot. You got one-on-one here, no safety here. And even though it's third down and short, Stetson Bennett with this lead says, hey, I believe in my guy. If I see a linebacker walked out there one-on-one with that space, I'm going to take it.
53-yard gain. Now Bennett tries to get the ball to Burton. Well covered. Georgia fans can't believe there wasn't a flag.
By the way, let's not let that play get by, the previous play, without respecting Stetson Bennett on third down. He had an open, short route that he could have taken for the first down. But the guts of this kid says, no. I'm going to take the big shot. And he puts it right on the money. Now they're in the red zone.
What a night for Bennett. There's that 53-yarder. That's the longest play that Michigan gave up all year. There's the previous play. No flag on
Looks like a hold there by Green. He got away with one. And Georgia fans just saw it up on the screen. They're right.
2nd and 10. Play clock winding down. End around to Cook. And they track him down, tackle him behind the line. That's a nice play by Jalen Harrell.
Yeah, Harrell set the edge. Did a nice job of anticipating. That ball's going to bounce. They're trying to get it outside with Cook. See him to the top, to the far left there. Does just enough to slow him down. And then there's the rest of that Michigan defense flying. Josh Ross also. So again, Chris, here's another third down. Now you got McDonald at 6'7", the tight end, down to the left, trying to create a one-on-one matchup. But you see a safety over top there to try to help him out.
Enormously important, 3rd and 11. Wolverines cannot afford to allow another touchdown on this possession. Bennett across the middle, and the catch is made underneath by McConkey. Does not have first down yardage. Tackled right away by Dax Hill. And some hesitation, but they send the field goal team out there.
The way this game is going, those are wins for Michigan's defense. You know, that big play to Cook, in the blink of an eye, they're at the 15-yard line with momentum. They catch a break on the no call in 1st and 10, and they bow up here to set up this field goal attempt in the red zone.
Question is, which quarterback could take a risk and make it pay off? And Bennett has done that so far tonight. That 3rd and 3 deep shot. But Lesney from 28. And the Dogs answer the Wolverines field goal and stretch the lead back to 17. 3:50 before halftime. Bell bringing the best of the regular season to the CFP with the Liv Moss student section, providing tickets for students from both schools in the Capital One Orange Bowl and the national championship game. In downtown Miami, it's been mostly Georgia tonight. 2 field goals following 2 touchdowns. Have not punted yet. And the Wolverines with 3:50 to work with before halftime will get the football to begin the 3rd quarter. Chance to try to cut into this drive.
Yeah, big drive for both teams. You bring up an important point because they deferred. They do get the ball to start the second half.
This Michigan offensive line won the Joe Moore Award. From the top offensive line, Jerome Moore is the first-year head coach. They were very good at preventing tackles for loss and sacks and powerful running game, and they impressed John Madden, who sent out this text after the Ohio State game. He's had a strong bond with Harbaugh and a tie to the program because John, who sadly passed away on Tuesday at the age of 85, the legend, his grandson, Jesse, is a developing quarterback on this Michigan roster. And the Wolverines offensive line trying to create room for Haskins, but it's been tough to come by. Seen helping out big Devontae Wyatt.
I had a chance to see him on the field, Jesse on the field before the game, and he said, you know, this is where my grandpa would want me to be, you know, with his team. But the whole football community all over the country feeling John Madden's passing, and I know how much he appreciated Jim Harbaugh and his style of football, and especially that day in Ann Arbor. No yards or very short gain there, so again, behind the sticks here, it's 2nd and 9.
Ending in motion, a backwards pass to him, but heavy traffic, and he just couldn't weave his way past Nakobe Dean, who's having a monster first half.
You know, I talked about the wrinkles that Gaddis likes to go with when they go with that jet motion. Problem is, Georgia did their homework. And anytime they see 3 going in motion, Nakobe Dean, 17, is in a sprint to beat him to the corner, gets off a block, makes the play.
Talked about how smart a student and football player Nakobe Dean is. Tremendous anticipation and athleticism. Rushes the passer. He's excellent in coverage. A do-it-all linebacker. 3rd and 8. McNamara under heavy pressure escapes, but dropped to the line of scrimmage by Nolan Smith. And that offensive line is getting whipped.
They're bringing the backers. Bringing backer here. Bringing a backer here. Tough. Haskins tries to do a nice job. He kind of chips, but you have 3 blitzing linebackers along with that defensive line just suffocating that pocket, and just nothing Cade McNamara can do.
2 sacks tonight, but a whole lot of quarterback pressures and hits on McNamara. Frustration continues for Bastardas and then O-line.
You showed that graphic, and I can promise you a picture of that award is in Athens in that weight room and in every meeting room in the defensive side of the ball. You're always looking for an advantage. You're always looking for motivation in these big bowl games. And when Michigan, who deserved it, they had a great year. Sharon Moore comes in as the offensive line coach. They're technicians. They don't blow you off the ball. They communicate. It's a cohesive unit. But I guarantee that award fired up Kirby Smart. Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator, who's headed to Oregon to become the next head coach for the Ducks and the Georgia defense.
Moore told them in the preseason this offensive line has to be the heartbeat of the team. You have to be kind of the faces of this program. Back in the days when Dan Deerdorf and so many other great Michigan linemen, the legacy is enormous. Almost blocks. Robbins just able to get that away, and Jackson comes up and makes a fair catch.
I'm trying to figure out how it wasn't blocked. I mean, they got in there. They had a couple different players in there. Was it Rosamie Jack Saint, 81? He just kind of pulled up. If he extends himself out, that's blocked.
Sure did pull up.
Yeah, he kind of was like, I don't want to rough the punter, so he kind of pulled up. Then at the last second, he decides to get his right hand up.
If you block it, you can rough him.
Yeah, if he lays out, he blocks that.
They blocked a couple this year, including one for a touchdown against Arkansas.
He's frustrated thinking, dang, I finally came in clean, had a shot, and I pull up.
That would have been a crushing blow. Wolverines, a block punt right there, as it is. Bennett has 2:14 to work with here to add to this lead before halftime. Look at McIntosh showing the muscle, the leg drive, pushing Wolverines back with the help of big Warren Erickson.
Plays like that do more to give you a confidence and a belief and just fire you up than that big long pass that they had earlier, because they love to see their back not give up. Kenny McIntosh would not let up leg drive. You see the offensive lineman appreciate that after the whistle.
Bennett, hesitation, tries to lob it to Mitchell. Single coverage on the left side. Good coverage by Green. Well, you can see what the Bulldogs have done. It's the first time since 2010 that the Wolverine defense has allowed opponents to score points on their first 4 possessions.
Yeah, and Todd Monken, I mean, you could say, maybe you're watching Michigan for the first time, say, man, what's going on here? Give Todd Monken a lot of credit for the plan that he's put together. Mixing up the looks, personnel groupings, nice job of getting the ball out quickly, finding matchups. It's been a really good first half for the Georgia offense.
Bennett, backpedals, scrambles, heaves downfield, it's caught! Tremaine Burton scores. And Stetson Bennett can do no wrong tonight in Miami. What a turnabout from the SEC championship game. A 57-yard strike.
I can't figure out what Vincent Gray was thinking there. You know, he's their most talented defender. He was out there one-on-one with Burton, who's a fleet-footed receiver who's had to deal with a lot of injuries. But he just stopped on the play. He was in phase. He was running with him. I don't know if he lost the ball or what it might have been, but he stopped.
And Georgia builds a 24-point lead with 1:38 to play. And Bennett has been amazing tonight.
So the safety goes to the middle of the field, so it's one-on-one, and there's pressure, but he does a good job of getting up. Watch Four. He just kind of gave up on it. I just can't figure out why. I don't know if he just lost the football or what it might have been. He's okay. He's okay. He's okay. He stops. I don't think he expected the ball to be thrown, or maybe he didn't realize it was in the air and he just kind of let up. And Stetson Bennett, somebody's feeling pretty good when we're at 13.
Quiet determination is how I would describe his demeanor to get back and redeem his performance. He focused on the 4 or 5 bad plays that he made and not all the nice plays that he made. He had a 300-yard passing game against the Crimson Tide, but those 2 picks, he did some soul searching, he said.
I tell you, man,
he has responded.
Guy has been doubted his entire career, and his teammates believe in him. He believes in himself. But it's amazing how, you know, he doesn't allow it to affect him. Impressive.
Sure is. He's playing like this, he's going to get a chance to redeem himself along with his teammates against Alabama in Indy. The Dogs have come out on fire, putting it on the Wolverines here. 53 yards to Cook to set up a field goal, then the 57-yarder there for the touchdown. The 2 longest plays Michigan's given up all season long. Mercedes EQ halftime report. Reese, Desmond, and David. One of the analysts will be happier than the other. And halftime set. Highlights from the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, where Alabama rolled over Cincinnati. Pack Slayer Gator Bowl earlier in the day, won by Wake Forest up in Jacksonville. So 1:38, and McNamara creates something here to make this deficit less imposing. 4-man rush, ball is out, and it's intercepted. From bad to worse, Darian Kendrick going backwards to midfield after the pick, but the Dogs with their first takeaway and a chance to add to the lead.
Jim Harbaugh wants pass interference. That's what he's frustrated about. Kendrick pretty physical into the boundary. Look off to your right. Roman Wilson trying to run that route. Kendrick pushing on him. Doesn't even really have a chance to get back into the field of play. To hear what Bill has to say about this. What do you think, Bill?
He's got a hold of him, and he's pushed him out, even maybe forced out of bounds. There's contact there with the ball in the air. We should have had a pass interference call there.
That's what Jim Harbaugh was communicating to the official. Yeah, there it is.
Of course, that's not reviewable. He cannot believe the call wasn't made.
Previous play, under further review.
Just going to see on replay review if he was in bounds when he caught it. But the interference non-call isn't reviewable. As Kendrick has the savage shoulder pads awarded to Georgia.
I think they're looking to see, Chris, if Kendrick went out of bounds and did he establish himself back in bounds before he makes the play out of bounds there. Looks like he's back.
The restrictions about going out of bounds don't apply like they do to the offense. However, he does have to get back in bounds.
Yeah.
So
he looks like he's in bounds.
Yeah, to me, the view, he's picked his foot up. He's got the other foot in bounds.
Wilson didn't know the football was coming, didn't have his head turned, and a juggling pick by Kendrick, of course, who came over from Clemson, where he was an all-ACC corner. Worked his way into an important part of this defense. And then they called DK.
Scotty Campbell worked the guns again. These officials, when they get into these big games, they get the curl machine out.
And you get that medium shirt.
Yeah.
Show it off. Well, it's been frustrating on many levels for Harbaugh. He said that if his team plays well, he thinks they'll win. They haven't played nearly well enough, and Georgia has been very focused. They've shown their preparation in the last 4 weeks on both sides of the ball, executed extremely well.
Because being told from downstairs, they're looking at Bill, maybe Smith, 29 for targeting.
Right after the interception, a blocker came across, and he goes high with it, got the crown of the helmet down, and takes out 14. That's targeting.
Oh, wow, that was a tough play for Roman Wilson. He was the receiver who felt he should have been awarded a PI call against Kendrick. So after the interception, boom, he's blocked hard. And this is a post-possession, no foul.
You're absolutely right, Chris.
Possession, yeah.
They've already got the ball on the interception, so they'll keep the ball with the 15-yard penalty.
Michigan fans saying, can they review the pass
Ruling
interference?
on the field is an interception. During the return, personal foul, targeting number 29, return team. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. Number 29 has been disqualified.
So the scrappy junior safety, Chris Smith, is out. Relief for him that it happens in the first half and not the second half, which would force him to miss the first half of the championship game, and they appear headed in that direction.
He's one of the leaders, making an aggressive play. Kirby Smart was more surprised than anybody in the stadium.
Harbaugh would like to go back to the non-PI, which is a crucial call. Georgia's going to have the football at the 49-yard line. Minute 28 to try to make this an even more imposing deficit. Georgia favored for a reason, but I think most who've been around both teams here felt like Michigan brought a real positive vibe and a little swag into it, and they really believed that momentum from the Ohio State and the Iowa games would carry over to tonight. They respected Georgia. None of them could have imagined being down 24.
No.
Perhaps more at the break.
No, not at all. And it was almost like they were shocked at the beginning of the game with the Georgia team speed.
I agree.
And with the execution on that offensive side of the ball. This has not been what we've seen from Michigan's defense all year. Not just giving up points, but just a lack of emotion, a lack of energy. Almost just it's like watching a different defense, but Georgia deserves all the credit for that.
Give up 254 per game. The Dogs have 316.
I don't think they're done.
White knifes forward. They've had so many first down plays like that, getting 7 yards.
That's what we've seen. I mean, it's you got to give that offensive line a lot of credit. Aiden Hutchinson, instead of having a chance to rush the quarterback a lot, he's been having to deal with taking on polling linemen and running right at him. It's been a very different game for him.
Georgia has just the one timeout. No real urgency so far. Now under a minute to go. And again, they feed White. He stopped short of the first down. And Smart is going to spend his final time out here. This is a little surprising. The way they've been successful throwing the ball downfield, really completing passes at will. He did not call a timeout. So a chance to add points not taken so far by Georgia.
Yeah, very surprised. He's jumping around. He's jumping around. What are we doing?
Well, we're not calling a timeout. That's what they're not doing. And now in this 3rd and 2 play, they get it with White, but tick, tick down.
He's right next to
12 seconds to go. They'll stop it momentarily to move these sticks. This has been a little puzzling. I mean, you have Michigan reeling on the ropes. Whatever you're calling is working. You restart the clock, and this is going to be the final play of the half. Bennett just throws it away, it bounces, and that's it. So a lot went right for Georgia. That was their only empty possession of the half. A little bit puzzling, but domination and a 24-point deficit.
He learned that from Coach Saban. Big lead, he's a tyrant. I mean, he's going to get after it. He's frustrated with the way they work that clock at the end of the half.
Well, he had a timeout, and he didn't take it. Hey, if that's Bennett's only mistake, 16 for 22, 235, 2 touchdowns, and some scrambling. Let's get Jim Harbaugh's take on the first half with Marty Smith.
Thank you, Chris. Coach, what does your team need to do to turn this around?
Well, offensively, we got to block better, pass protection, and in the run game. Defensively, we got to play stronger in a lot of areas, especially on the perimeter.
Thank you, Coach. Holly?
Well, Coach, you were just in a heated discussion with your quarterback, Stetson Bennett. What was that about?
We want to go score there, be aggressive, try to get a field goal, try to score like we've done the whole time. Didn't manage the clock real well at the end.
Christopher Smith's targeting. You're razor thin in the secondary. How do you overcome that?
Well, he's been injured some of this year. We haven't had him for a couple games, so we got some experienced guys that can step up and play.
Thank you, Coach.
So it wasn't a perfect first half for Coach Smart. It never is, but darn close to it. Michigan down by 24 here in Miami. Mercedes EQ halftime report coming up after these messages. You're watching the Capital and Orange Bowl on ESPN.
Feels good to see the world get in. Feels good to see the world get in. I don't know about you, I don't know about you like Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Touchdown, Mitchell!
I don't know about you,
Georgia trickery.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Set for the second half in Miami. College football playoff semifinal of the Capital One Orange Bowl. Georgia Bulldogs just bulldozing Son Haskins and the Michigan Wolverines. 24-point deficit for Michigan, which would get the football to begin the third quarter here. Chris Fowler back with Kirk Herbstreit. Michigan hasn't been able to run the ball at all. They've had one positive play with the passing game, but defensively, the group that really contained Ohio State's offense at high-power passing attack has been very vulnerable.
Yeah, and I think Todd Monken has found a way to attack by utilizing the tight ends in the interior of that Michigan defense. Safeties have to respect that. Now you got one-on-one on the outside, and those receivers, now that they're healthy, have been able to really get after the Michigan corners, and it's been a mismatch. I think the only way you can try to slow down Georgia and what they do with a balanced attack is you got to win the line of scrimmage. You got to dominate the line of scrimmage, and they've not been able to do that in the first half.
Dogs points on all their possessions except for the last one, which was somewhat puzzling. Kirby Smart was upset with his quarterback for not being more urgent, but they called run plays and didn't call a timeout.
And he had I was going to say, I don't know if that was a little bit of theater there or what he was doing, but I'd been like, Coach, you had a timeout, man. Could have used it.
Yeah, or throw the ball.
Yeah.
That's an idea.
Yeah, right.
And now for the Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, it's been the Georgia defense. Look at how physical they have been. Talking about what Michigan's defense needs to do, winning the line of scrimmage. Look how this defensive line, which by the way has been one of the best all year, how physical they've been. Nakobe Dean, the leader, showing his athleticism, running sideline to sideline to take away a play where they want to get Blake Corum out in space. The defense, at least for 30 minutes, asserting themselves.
Haskins a short gain. Yeah, the Michigan running backs in the first half, Kirk, 7 carries for a total of 21 yards. If you take away the 42-yard pass to Wilson, McNamara had 30 passing yards in the first half.
Yeah, and this Michigan offensive line has had a great year, but this is a different kind of matchup for them compared to everybody else that they have faced all year because of how big and strong and how athletic that front is. And those linebackers are getting downhill on it.
McNamara to Haskins, who goes up and makes a nice catch and is wrestled down about 2 yards short of the marker. Holly?
Well, for Georgia, it was a razor's edge in the secondary. They've lost 9 different guys in the secondary since the start of this season. And guys, it is very thin back there. They're going to a walk-on right now, number 47, Dan Jackson. Now, he has played some. He did start in the SEC championship game, but he is a little bit inexperienced back there. We did ask the defensive coordinator about it, Dan Lanning, and he said he's somebody that I totally trust, but a big challenge for him right now.
Jackson, a sophomore. Thanks, Holly. They somehow spotted that as first down. No idea how. McNamara escaped pressure, but not for long. He is hammered from behind by Trayvon Walker. We've been talking about him tonight.
He has been everywhere, and again, they keep bringing the pressure. They've been doing it all year. Why stop? Linebacker blitzes. Usually it's Nakobe Dean, and this time you see Quay Walker in there. Doesn't really affect him with a play-action look. Nolan Smith has had a big day as well, and then it's the big fella, Trayvon Walker, who brings the club through.
Sure did. 2nd and 16. Michigan behind the sticks so often tonight after the first down plays. McNamara, Quorum couldn't go down and pick it up. It'll be 3rd and long. Marty?
Chris, Jim Harbaugh's message to his team at halftime was, first, we have to be more physical offensively. Literally take this game one play at a time for the rest of the way. Slowly build momentum, slowly chip away at that deficit. Demand of yourself everything you've got, every single play, just keep playing.
Sounds like what a coach would say, down by 24, but his team faces 3rd and long in the first series, and a catch made. That's Eric All, the big tight end, and it's a first down in midfield. There's a flag down.
Yeah, he's got a free play there. Georgia trying to get a jump there. Looked like Jalen Carter, 88, got a little bit of a quick start, so he had the free play. Puts it up where the big tight end
offside.
Can make a play on it.
Defense.
Yep.
That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Just like Bowers on the Georgia side, the Michigan team uses their tight ends a lot, but they've been contained tonight.
They have.
Penalty.
I think he felt that it was right in front of him, took the shot there on 3rd down, comes up with it.
21-yard gain. Bobbled snap by McNamara, but Haskins has room, and he barrels for Michigan's best running play tonight. So a positive start to the 3rd quarter. They're down to the Georgia 31.
And again, that's Michigan. That's their gap scheme. They like to pull around the tight end all. They bring around the big center Vastardis. And now he's got a little bit of room to work with. Big pass play, get to the line of scrimmage quickly, try to get Georgia more on their heels instead of them being the aggressor. Michigan there for a couple plays, the aggressor.
False tempo as they got up to the line and back away after checking out the defense. Haskins wrestled down by Davis after a short gain.
It is physical in the line of scrimmage, and Georgia doing a really good job of getting off of blocks. See Jalen Carter in there doing a nice job of just kind of pushing through. Big 92 in there as well.
It's Julian Rochester, not Davis.
Rochester, yeah.
They've got depth up there.
They do. They'll rotate it up to 8 different bodies, try to stay fresh. Jalen Carter, 88, to me, one of the most talented, along with Trayvon Walker.
McNamara just dropped on the edge. Donovan Edwards, a very fluid, versatile back. That's uncharacteristic, and it's crucial. 37 now.
He's a freshman, and he started to peak. You know, we see that in college football. You know, whether it's a quarterback taking his eye off of a snap, a running back out in the flat, looks up to see the defense, to see where he wants to go after he catches it, but he didn't secure the ball. Here comes McCarthy in a late switch at quarterback.
Was a late switch. 3rd and 7 here. McCarthy can throw it very well, even though that's not been the MO. Empty backfield. This is tough to charge out there late against this aggressive defense, and they'll have to spend a timeout. So Harbaugh down 24, has to burn one early to make that late quarterback change. Let's see what they cook up after the break. Kirby Smart telling his defense, be aware.
He can throw it now. He's going to fake the run. Be aware. Show discipline now with your eyes.
Pretty good jump past Panama.
Yeah, it was.
McCarthy still in the game after the timeout. He needs 7.
Leave no stone.
This 3rd down play, got to drag Kirby. Got a guy responsible for dragging him off the field. He's out near the numbers sometimes.
Pretty animated. Here they come.
Certainly showing blitz. A lot of pointing on both sides. McCarthy stands and delivers across the middle, and that's all. He's made 2 big catches on 3rd downs in this drive, and the Wolverines are in the red zone.
Love this call. Delay, eventually get the tight end to block, and then release him. A little bit of a delay. He's matched up there. Nolan Smith, who's not great in coverage, and I love after all catches the ball, gets north and south. Has great intentions, catches the ball. He's short of that 1st down, puts his left foot in the ground, gets north and south, and it gives them a chance here in the red zone, 1st and 10.
McCarthy does his job. Now McNamara back in at quarterback. Haskins around the right end, stiff arm, and dragged down after about a 4-yard gain by Nolan Smith.
You know, Michigan, one of the few teams in the country that really loves counter. They love gap scheme, which is the old power play that Jim Harbaugh used to run at Stanford with all those great running backs that he had back when he was a head coach at Stanford. Did it with the 49ers. Josh Gaddis, who came in, remember he came from Alabama with Mike Loxley. Everybody talked about, wow, Michigan's going to be more of a spread team now with Shea Patterson. Kind of come full circle this year. Love how they're bending to the talent they have to work with this year.
Gaddis, the Broyles Award winner, top assistant coach. Few would have predicted that at the beginning of the season. But there's a misfire up front.
Stuber, the right tackle.
Offensive line that, you know, just doesn't make mistakes.
Ball start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty.
It's the MO. They don't make mental mistakes like this. You might beat them occasionally individually, but they're not going to make it easy for it by busting a pass pro. But tonight they've just been beaten.
Yeah, and it's a neutral site, obviously, here at the Orange Bowl, but they are right in front of the Georgia band and the loudest part of the Georgia section.
So they're behind the sticks again on 2nd down. McNamara launching for the end zone, a jump ball, and it's his 2nd interception from Darian Kendrick. He was looking for Baldwin, he kind of broke it away, and Kendrick says, thank you very much.
You know, Chris, we saw earlier in the first half, Michigan's defensive back, Vincent Gray, stop. Now we see a receiver, Baldwin, stop, doesn't locate the football. He just gave up on the play, and give Kendrick credit. He sees the ball and goes back to his wide receiver days, makes the interception.
Matching his season total with picks, 2 tonight.
Semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure. Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. And Modelo. Brewed for those with a fighting spirit.
Most entertaining CFP semifinal ever. The double overtime victory by Georgia over Oklahoma out there in the Rose Bowl. And Stetson Bennett wearing the number 6 of Baker Mayfield ran the scout team as a red shirt. And then later after the game said, bye-bye Sooners, a little swag. And he said, yeah, a very insignificant role in that playoff game compared to the burden that he has tonight. And he has certainly handled that burden beautifully so far. Walk on the first time at Georgia. We talked about that. Off to Mississippi, played junior college, came back for a scholarship, had to battle hard to get that starting job and fend off the critics and the skeptics after he got it. He's answered a lot of them so far tonight. Cook wrestled down right at the line by Ross.
Been so impressed with the job Georgia's defense has done. Keep in mind, Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator, is wearing 2 hats in these 27 days. He got hired to be the next head coach for the Oregon Ducks. At the same time, not only putting a staff together and trying to recruit, obviously he wanted to finish the job here and be the defensive coordinator and win this game and win the national championship. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. So you really respect what he's doing, and the job that he's done in prepping his defense so far has been exceptional.
No doubt. And the Ducks and Lanning open against the Dogs.
How crazy.
How weird is that? You know, Lanning was interesting, Kirk. He was saying that, and Kirby said this too, you know, you're trying to get ready to win this game, but part of his mind's always saying, wait a minute, next time we get together this season, he's going to be the other side, and he's going to know everything I'm thinking and doing.
Absolutely.
It was a concern, the coach already thinking ahead to the 22 opener.
Right. But that's how coaches think. But Dan Lanning, a coach that's grown with Kirby, who's in Tuscaloosa with Nick Saban, and Rob Mullins, the AD at Oregon, pulls the trigger and gives him his first opportunity to become a head coach. We're excited to see what he can do in Eugene.
Dogs have 3rd and 8 here, a 2-back look. Bennett scrambling, chased by Ojabo, heaves it downfield. That was a risky throw. protecting a big lead. Is fourth down. He got away with one.
There it is. I mean, that's the head scratcher, right? That's in Bennett. He'll play flawlessly, and then he'll make a play like that. That ball very easily is intercepted, and Michigan will have the ball at about the 30-yard line. Instead, it falls incomplete. But he's got a big lead. Just throw it away up 27-3 instead. The competitive nature of the kid, he wants to try to always make a play. He's got to be careful.
It looked like even money to be picked off.
Oh, yeah.
It was the first 3 and out for the Dogs tonight. And the first time that we'll see the excellent punter, Jake Camarda, who gets it away. It's a solid kick. Henning driven back to the 24-yard line. He's a very dangerous, speedy returner. Bounces it and gets the edge. You can see why Michigan fans get excited when he gets his hands on the football. Live look at Times Square, about 2 hours and 15 minutes away. The ball will drop. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest already counting it down over on ABC. Bama within 1 step of collecting the CFP National Championship Trophy presented by Dr. Pepper. Winner here to meet Crimson Tide, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Monday night, January 10th. Michigan fans hoping to head back to the city where they, of course, won the Big Ten Championship and where Jim Harbaugh starred with the Colts. Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren. And inaccurate throw. Quorum was underneath, but it's been a tough night for Cade McNamara. Pressured often. Nothing has really clicked.
No. And you know, he had a little bit of pressure there, but I think he's expecting Quorum, instead of settling, to continue to work over the middle. So a miscommunication. Boy, he's been so efficient all year. Just
4 interceptions coming in.
Yeah, just
it's a 4-man rush, delivers into traffic. Catch is made there by Cornelius Johnson. Their top receiver this season finally makes his first catch tonight.
Yeah, when Ronnie Bell went down early in the year, it's a group effort by kind of a committee. They all bring something a little bit different to the table. The tight ends have emerged, but yeah, you're right. Cornelius Johnson, probably their best vertical threat because of his length and his speed.
No one dominant receiver, but against Michigan, you have to defend all the eligible skilled players. George has done a spectacular job of smothering those guys tonight. Quorum could not, and lost the ball. It's on the ground, and the Bulldogs have it. So 2 interceptions and now a fumble. Devontae Wyatt is on it for Georgia.
Well, there was a hole there. Michigan's only hope is that he was potentially down before the ball came out, but based on his reaction coming off the field, the ball must have come out.
First down.
Look at Dean.
Yeah, ball's out right there. Nakobe Dean.
I mean, what else could he do?
Exactly. I mean, the guy, the face of that defense, has made every play tonight.
Just a perfectly placed chop with a hand, right?
And that's not an accident. I mean, they work on that, and he especially pays attention to detail. And you're right. He put that left hand, just clubbed right through the football and knocked it loose from Blake Corum.
Wyatt grabs it, and that's back-to-back possessions for Michigan now, ending in a turnover. Absolute last thing they needed, trying to cut into this big lead. And Dean showing why he was voted the top linebacker in the country. One of the best football players in America, period.
Yep.
We'll see Devin Lloyd tomorrow in the Rose Bowl for Utah. Another one of those guys in the conversation is the top linebacker. But Dean has been brilliant all season. Bennett looking for more. Has a lot of time. There's a flag down. Jackson makes the catch at the 30.
That's a holding
zone. There's a couple up and down back.
McClendon the right tackle on Aiden Hutchison. I think they have a couple different. I think Sawyer may have got his hand up into the face also.
It won't count. That was a pretty nice pitch and catch.
It was, yeah. Right over top of the linebacker. Right hand by Jackson.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the offense. Holding, number 69, offense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, face mask, number 69, Offense, that penalty being enforced 15 yards from the previous spot, still first down.
Didn't even get McClendon, who's one that wrestled Rodgers.
He grabbed Aiden Hutchinson around the neck.
Could have had 3 flags there.
Yeah, they were locked in on Sawyer on the left side. Takes away, like you said, Chris, great effort there by Kyrus Jackson.
Not the kind of impact Hutchinson had hoped to make. No sacks for this Wolverine defense. He's pressured a couple of times. He does draw a fair number of penalties because of his skill set. But the guy rated the #1 prospect in the draft boards of both Mel Kiper and Todd McShay certainly hoped to make a lot more impact plays tonight. 26-yard gain negated, so it's 1st and 25 on the perimeter. And Cook had to wait for it. And a nice gain out across the 40.
Daxton Hill timed that up and got his left hand up to try to knock it down. I think he actually got his maybe a finger on the ball, but good job by Cook staying focused. Watch 30 at the top. He blitzes, gets that hand up. Yeah, he did. He deflected that football, but there's the athletic ability. Cook nonchalantly is able to stay focused, make a nice play.
So back to 2nd and 11. Kendall Milton is in the backfield. They fake it to him. Now Bennett tried to get it to Bowers, and again knocked down by Dax Hill again.
Cranking the pressure up. Mike McDonald deciding to, based on certain formations down in distance, they're bringing 30 off the edge. Second time he's been able to get to the outside. Can't quite get to Bennett, so instead times that leap perfectly to knock it down.
More frustration after the play. Scuffle quickly broken up, and it's 3rd and 11. Much better from the Wolverines defense lately, but is it far too late? Bennett gets it out. McIntosh weaves his way for a first down. The backs have been dangerous all year, tonight included.
Yeah, great blocks downfield, but you're right, Chris. The tight ends and the running backs have been the catalyst to this offense. And these backs all do something a little bit different. You know, Kenny McIntosh is like a receiver like James Cook, and so you can line him out there in the slot, and he has the running back instincts, obviously, because he's a back, so he is able to set those blocks up and get behind that convoy. Good call there by Todd Monken again.
McIntosh, like Cook from this area, comes from Fort Lauderdale, just up the road. And they pitch it back to White, and Zeus knocked down by Gray, but it's about a 10-yard gain.
So you deal with James Cook, and you got Kenny McIntosh in that backfield, and then they go back to the rock, Zamir White, who's just interested in lowering his shoulder and running through anybody wearing blue. So, man, they're doing a really nice job of just rotating, keeping them fresh, and making this defense have to adjust to a different kind of rhythm from these running backs. Bottom line is Georgia's getting the ball to their athletes in space and making Michigan have to try to defend them.
Yep, deepest running back room in the country in Georgia. White, it's just like a running play. They get the ball quickly on the edge, and the Wolverines give chase, but another big gain of 9.
Another example of Michigan's defense. You're so concerned about these tight ends. Look at the 2 tight ends on the left, 0 and 19. You got to get guys downfield to deal with them. So what does that do? Stetson Bennett says, no problem. Easy throw into the flat. It's almost like a handoff, and then all that room to run.
And now White barrels for the first down to the 16.
This is why we were all so confused in Atlanta. I mean, this is not Alabama, or this is not Georgia today. This has been Georgia the majority of the season. I mean, we put Kirby Smart and Georgia on a pedestal, and it was like there was Georgia for 12 weeks, and there was everybody else. And to Alabama's credit, they showed up determined, played with a chip on their shoulder, and won the game. But this is not shocking, like, wow, where'd this come from? This is who they've been most of this season.
Yep, this was a dominant, sort of unanimous #1 type team that ran roughshod for 12 games. The performance in Atlanta was the outlier, but it was in a monster game against by far the best team they'd played. So we wondered, would there be a carryover? Did the Tide take a little piece of their heart that night? No.
The answer. No. I think they got Washington on a hold here, trying to open up a little bit of room there. But yeah, no, I think they answered the bell. They answered the bell.
Number 0, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still first down.
So Bennett in a tremendous bounce back performance. Again, the 340 yards, but he had the 2 picks. One of them was a pick 6. That was an enormous play in that game. Tonight, super clean.
The game got away from them in the second half, but he had the interceptions. That's the thing that stood out to most people from that game. But I think,
and to him, to be fair.
Oh yeah,
he was pretty self-critical.
I think Georgia fans right now, I mean, they feel good about 27-3. They're at the 20-yard line. They're already thinking about, you know what?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of them thinking about that before, to be honest.
I mean,
Cook runs it in there. Here comes a late flag thrown by referee Campbell.
Yeah, there's been some pushing and shoving. I don't know if they caught that possibly from Taylor Upshaw, 91 or not.
Personal foul, chop block, 69 and 19, high-low combination, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, still first down.
That was close. I mean, usually, Bill, you got to be engaged a little bit. And Sawyer, he starts to make the block, and then Bowers submarines the defender off to the far left. See 69, Bill. I guess
it's a chop block.
Okay,
he got it.
I know he went down, but you feel like he was engaged enough?
Yes, he was.
Sawyer was. Okay. Well, they just keep going backwards. Now they're all the way back to the 35.
Yeah, it's the 3rd penalty in the drive for a total of 40 yards. So 1st and 29. Play action. Bennett spins away from pressure and will scoot around the edge, and that's what makes him so frustrating. He is elusive. He's got good speed. He says he needs to trust his speed more. He didn't look this fast against the Crimson Tide, frankly.
No. And that time, big 95, Jeter was chasing him. A little bit different than Will Anderson chasing you around.
Yep.
But, yeah, he's trusted his speed, I feel like, tonight. I mean, he's made some plays with his legs. Give it a little Walter Payton there, that little lazy leg there, little kick.
Comparing Bennett to Walter
no,
Payton as a
no.
good runner.
It was an attempt to kind of kick it up there. Of course not, man. Nobody gets compared.
Here's another play where he's on the run on the edge and just throws it away. Typically, when he gets outside the pocket, he's going to run it. He doesn't make that many big throws on the run. Holly?
Well, guys, Stetson Bennett is actually a really sneaky, great athlete. When he was in high school, he was the Georgia State Baseball Player of the Year. He actually ran track and field as well in the sprints, even raced against Nicole Hardman at one point and advanced to sectionals. So he's in there because of his feet, his ability to escape, but he's been a good athlete all of his life. I talked to his dad last night, and he said, we might be smaller people, but we're still very athletic people.
Yeah, he's listed at 5'11". That's a bit of an exaggeration. He is not a big dude, but see his mom right there. He is certainly a good enough athlete to put his team in the championship game. Here's a downfield throw from McConkey, just out of his reach, covered by DJ Turner.
The greatest
22.
Chris, the greatest attribute, you can talk about his legs and why he's been in there all year over JT Daniels, who was a 5-star transfer over from USC, and a lot of people thought future in the NFL, maybe still has that, but it's his moxie, it's his chip on his shoulder, it's how hard he plays, it's how the more you question him, the harder he's going to come back, not just for a week, but his entire career. And the fact that that's not engulfed him says a lot about how he's wired.
But Lusney will miss this one. It made his first 2. That one slides wide left from 46. So a scoreless third quarter so far. The lead still 24. As always, Curtis Wilson piloting the All-State bus down here to South Florida. What's your All-State celebration moment tonight?
It's Stetson Bennett all night tonight, making great decisions, quick decisions, and showing off that mobility. Aiden Hutchinson chasing down a lot of quarterbacks this year with 14 sacks, but Bennett feels it, gets away from it, then a deep ball, perfectly thrown to Jermaine Burton, taking advantage of Vincent Gray getting lost in coverage. So he has been on point tonight, leading this offense.
McNamara and the Wolverines back at it here after 3 consecutive turnovers in the last 3 possessions. Georgia hadn't turned any of them into points, but certainly they have killed Michigan's chances of heading into this lead.
Yeah, and when you're down 27-3, you don't have like wide receivers. You've never had to really rely on your receivers to be in obvious passing situations all year. It's tough.
McNamara has the ball knocked free. He got it back to avoid a 4th turnover. Nolan Smith knocked it loose.
Nolan Smith knocks it loose. I felt like that ball was bouncing away from him, and somehow the ball decides to roll back towards him. One of the few breaks that Michigan has caught. There's that pressure again. And then Nolan Smith again, much like Nagobi Dean, knocking that ball away intentionally. You see how it spun back.
First lucky bounce they've gotten tonight, and now McCarthy is in, replacing McNamara on this 3rd and 8 play. Dogs showing blitz. Edwards motions back in. They rush only 4. Ball out over the middle, and the catch is made by all the tight end. He's been really their biggest weapon in the pass game tonight. He's got a first down in Dogs territory.
Well, usually you see a blitz, but instead they drop Nakobe Dean. Watch this throw by McCarthy in between where it looked like Dean was dropping and the other backer, Quay Walker. Nice job, and a nice job of putting that on a line.
Off the bench, delivered a seed, and now a high throw, tried to get it to Wilson, but that's 3 3rd and long completions to all tonight.
Yeah, he is a threat. I remember Jim Harbaugh telling us on a call one time, maybe a year or 2 ago, about what his future might be. J.J. McCarthy is probably the most highly talented Michigan quarterback that they have recruited in years. I mean, maybe go back to Chad Henne.
Big time, 5-star.
And so the expectations, we've seen him run the ball. I think he's a better passer than he is a runner. So he is a legitimate dual threat quarterback that Michigan has in their future.
McCarthy sprints away from late pressure, gets on the edge, and runs smack in to Quay Walker.
That was a big-time play by Quay Walker. Again, 6'4", 240 out in space. And Chris, he's being blocked, kind of boxed out, not blocked, by the tight end, Eric All. And then All doesn't realize that Quay Walker's getting off of him. And then how about the suddenness by 7? What a play.
Admire McCarthy's toughness, but young man, avoid hits like that from linebackers like Quay Walker. End of 3 in Miami. Watching the Capital and Orange Bowl on ESPN, 27-3 Dogs. 15 minutes to play here at the Capital and Orange Bowl. It's hippie semifinal number 2 in Hard Rock Stadium. Goodyear providing their aerial coverage, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. Wolverines trying to find the end zone for the first time on the move here at the 41 of Georgia, facing a 3rd and 6 as we begin the final quarter. It's been J.J. McCarthy providing a spark midway drive after McNamara recovered his own fumble. Bounce up after that big hit from Walker to end the 3rd quarter. Spins away from pressure, chased, and just before crossing the line, launches it incomplete and out of bounds. See the athleticism to escape the rush, but it's 4th and 6 now.
Yeah, that pressure got on him in a hurry, but he's able to keep that alive. I mean, Michigan knew that these backers would be coming after him, and they knew that they had to have a plan for it, especially on 3rd down. And expecting it is one thing, dealing with it in reality is another. McCarthy doing a heck of a job, Chris, here, just to keep it alive, keep the play alive, but no chance downfield.
Needs 6 yards to keep the drive alive. Edwards split out to the right as a cushion. McCarthy looking to the left and delivers a throw over the head of Sanderstill. Would have been a tough, tricky throw. Couldn't make it, and a turnover on downs. Well, Ryan Seacrest, Atlanta native, spent some time on the Athens campus. He's got to be excited as He counts down the end of 2021 in Times Square. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve is on ABC at the moment.
Well, the one-on-one coverage has been a problem for Michigan matching up. This is when James Cook got matched up against a true freshman linebacker, Junior Colson. Been a tough night for Vincent Gray, one-on-one. That was the halfback pass. Here he is, one-on-one downfield, just kind of hesitates. Jermaine Burton goes past him. So playing the tight ends, the combination of that, matching up one-on-one on the outside, proving to be a lot for the Michigan defense to deal with.
And the Dogs have looked sharp from the start tonight. 7 points on their first possession. Points on their first 4 possessions. Milton for a short gain. So tonight, 293, way over what they've averaged for the season. We allowed 13 touchdown passes. That's 1 per game coming in. 3 by Bennett tonight. It's Milton again taking his turn as a ball carrier tonight. And he muscles to the 47. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Kind of how the Georgia-Alabama game got sideways for the Dogs, for their offense. They got into unfamiliar territory with Stetson Bennett because of their own defense couldn't match up with Bryce Young, and all of a sudden they became very obvious in that second half. That's what Michigan's offense has dealt with tonight. They have played complementary football offensively all year because of the dominance of their own defense. All of a sudden your own defense has given up plays and yards. It puts the Michigan offense in a very uncomfortable position the entire night.
Play action on 3rd down. Bennett eludes the pressure and tries to scamper for a first down and weaves his way past the marker into Wolverine territory.
Chris Hinton, the big defensive tackle, got in there. It wasn't Aiden Hutchinson. It was 15. The only problem with that is that's where Stetson Bennett can do what he can do. I mean, it's a free pass. You're right in there, 15, right in the middle of this defense. Stetson Bennett looking right. All of a sudden he sees him. It's 3rd down. Keep that in mind. 3rd down. There's nothing worse than a defense. They do it right, just the way it's drawn up, and the quarterback with his legs makes you pay for it and moves the sticks.
Hinton, one of 3 Georgia natives who start for Michigan. He would know all about Bennett from their days as high school players. Now it's White who's fresh, and he comes back, just barrels forward for another big first down gain.
I was just about to say it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
You know, 3rd down, the way this game has gone, you do it right, and then he scrambles for the first, and then look at the next play. They get pounded for about 5 or 6 yards.
Your point was great. Neither team is used to being behind in games this year. Michigan basically front running, had a big lead against Michigan State in their only loss. Georgia bullying people until Alabama started throwing haymakers back after the Dogs led 10-0, remember?
Right. Yeah.
Did not respond. You're right.
Out of their comfort zone.
We'll have another chance, it appears.
Yes.
Play clock at 2. They use all of it. And White knocked down about 1.5 yards short of the marker.
You should start maybe peeking down the road a little bit about that rematch. I mean, we're going to respect this game, obviously, but the idea of Kirby Smart, so many storylines going up against Nick Saban, Georgia being so dominant all year, losing in the SEC championship, and as you said, Nakobe Dean telling us, hey, something about getting a second chance, and that's what we have, and we have to take advantage of it. There's just a lot there.
Absolutely. Physically and mentally, psychologically. On this 3rd and short play, Dogs need 1. Bennett looking to throw for it under pressure. Hammered, but he lofts it out to Cook, who collects it and sprints for a touchdown. What a homecoming night for James Cook. His first game back in Miami. He's done a lot, and now he scored a touchdown from 39 yards out.
And they got him one-on-one again, and the linebacker, Junior Colson, draws a short straw to have to try to match up with him. He's going to release down here. Colson just on the outside trying to match up man-to-man with him. And watch the job that Mitchell does, walling off a defender just to be safe. kind of boxing him out, not letting the other backer, Ross, catch up to him. What a well-designed play to get Cook matched up again against the backer for the touchdown.
Now Cook came in inspired, eager to duplicate what his brother Dalvin did here against Wolverines, and he has done that. 34-3.
College football playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Taco Bell. And the proven formula of Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
AT&T 5G pylon cam showing you a lot of red and black tonight. It's been a celebration down here in South Florida, and you can bet thoughts have already turned toward Indy a week from Monday night. Speaking of Monday night, this Monday night, Browns and Steelers, another crucial playoff game. It isn't every game in the NFL with playoff implications these days. Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern time, countdown at 6 o'clock.
Big Ben, possibly his last game at Heinz Field. What an incredible career he's had. The big fella. Always wish him well.
Well, the Michigan faithful have just about cleared out and left the Bulldog fans here to party. You wonder, tremendous season for Michigan, conquering Ohio State that magical afternoon, winning their first Big Ten championship in 17 years. And what does a resounding loss on a big stage in their first ever playoff game do to take away from that, if anything?
I think for a lot of people it will, but it's been a magical season. You know, if you're objectively viewing what they've done from where they have been close. They've had some years with Jim Harbaugh and they've been close, but this team, despite what happened tonight, Big Ten champions, they beat Ohio State, they beat Iowa, had a rough night tonight, but Michigan fans should always remember this team as a special unit.
This question coming in was, how much more talented was Georgia than Michigan? As McCarthy tries to make something happen at Quorum. Dean got there early. Recruiting rankings aren't everything. There's player development. There's now the transfer portal. But it's a lot. And if you look back, Kirk, at the 4 recruiting classes leading into this game, you look at the top 100 players recruited. Georgia 40, Michigan 7. The 5-star recruits in those 4 years, 20 for Georgia, 3 for Michigan. That doesn't tell the whole story, but you see what appears to be a gap for Michigan to deal with in this field tonight.
And Michigan's been more about recruiting and developing, and Georgia's been able to bring in players that right away are kind of turnkey, especially the skill spots.
Dorothy gets the throw out. Here is a 5-star recruit on the Michigan side. Completion to Johnson.
He looks good back there. You can see why they're so excited about what he can do when he takes the keys as a complete package, not just a coming in for as a wrinkle or a change of pace.
Looks like the game is his now after the fumble by McNamara. It's been McCarthy, and this is Corum, really finally healthy after a frustrating season. He's back to full speed. He just hasn't been able to get loose in that against this defense at all.
No, they're flying to the ball really well prepared. We talked earlier. They seem to be dialed in on their keys, different formations, personnel groupings, down and distance, right hash, left hash. They're great communication. Very rarely are they out of position tonight.
Ball zipped high and off the hands of all.
And the other thing is the secondary's played a lot better. I mean, that was the question mark all year. Could somebody make Georgia's defense pay for the secondary? We don't know how good the back end is because they're so good up front and getting pressure. And then we saw Bryce Young do what he did in that game in Atlanta, and everybody thought, okay, that's the weakness. I think they've heard that for a month, and I think they wanted to come out and play and show that they can defend, and they've come up with a bunch of turnovers.
Certainly at the beginning of the season, it was a question. We knew the front seven was great. They had to replace 4 secondary starters to the NFL.
Yeah.
And swarming in there for the sack is Trayvon Walker. He escaped. I think he had him in the grass, but he suddenly got free as a flag at the end of the play.
Yeah, he got out of there.
McCarthy got loose. Walker thought he had him.
Yeah,
I did too.
And I think Georgia's defense was with you. I mean, they the guys that weren't in man coverage kind of pulled up there, but there's definitely a block by Michigan that's going to get the attention of the officials as he was stepping out of bounds. I think it was Blake Corum hitting Danny Jackson. Or Dan Jackson. That's Dan Jackson right there that took the hit.
McCarthy did well to escape.
The result of the play was a line the game was made. After the play was over, personal foul, illegal blindside block. Number 2, offense, 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. It'll still be 1st and 10.
It's a result of that frustration. It's been very, very disappointing night for Corum, and he just takes it out on Jackson. You cannot do that.
No, but going back to the play, you know, Walker, who is a big man, he had McCarthy wrapped up. I mean, he's down, right? And McCarthy didn't give up on it. The reason he had all that room after he got out of there is Georgia's in man coverage. So he's got all this room to work with Georgia's defense with their backs to him. Got to be careful playing man-to-man against a quarterback like McCarthy because he can take off and go.
And 1st and 10 from the pocket. No, now he'll dart free. He didn't slide. He's taking another big shot tonight. That was Quay Walker again. But a positive play for the freshman.
And this is where I think an example of an area that he has a chance to grow. He's going to have a route coming in, and he kind of gives up on it. Right here. He's got a backer, chance to go over top of it, just kind of pulled off of it a little bit too early.
Bounces that pass to Anthony. Well, it'll be an off-season competition. You know, next year McCarthy has that kind of talent that it's hard to keep off the field. McNamara, a very solid year. You figured just an experience, he'd have the edge, but McCarthy will have something to say about that.
We asked Josh Gaddis about that, and he's like, I'm enjoying it right now. It's worked for us right now, but yeah, looking down the road, it'll be a heck of a battle between those two. Because with his skill set, it opens up the playbook so much more. It's nothing against Cade McNamara. Anybody who's watched Michigan this year has to respect the job he has done as a leader and being efficient and being a complement to their run game. And he's always seemed to make the right decision with the passing game. So it's great. But McCarthy, you just can't deny his ability as a guy who can run and throw.
Delivers another hard, high throw off the hands of all. They have a good relationship, and McCarthy has learned a lot from McNamara, who's been generous with the younger player in terms of teaching and his experience, but it does shape up as a very interesting quarterback competition between who McNamara would be a senior, McCarthy a sophomore.
One thing you don't know about McCarthy yet until you see more of him is just all the presence that Cade McNamara brings, the maturity. If he brings that to go along with his skill set, that's where you can go to another level. The only way you'll learn that is just watch him play more.
Downfield throw, it's Wilson who can't quite catch up to it. McCarthy hit as he threw it.
He had the one-on-one matchup. Roman Wilson can get behind coverage, and he beat Kendrick that time. Didn't have a safety back there, so it's one-on-one. Pool 31 is up there tight on Henning, so there's the one-on-one, and put a little bit more air on that, and that's a touchdown.
Third and 10. McCarthy launches, and a diving catch as a flag comes up by Donovan Edwards, who got deep. And that'll stand. It'll be a penalty on the Dogs.
We've seen Georgia do this, right? Where they get one-on-one with a running back against a linebacker. Now Michigan is saying, we'll take that. We'll take Donovan Edwards against Quay Walker one-on-one.
Pass interference, number 7, defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
It's a tremendous job to make the catch.
Yeah, fights through the interference, gets his hands under, makes the play. I tell you, Blake Corum and Haskins obviously get most of the attention, but anybody can see that Donovan Edwards is going to have a bright future in that backfield. Again, he has receiver skills, but as a running back.
Make no mistake, Michigan has recruited well. You're talking about guys like Edwards, a very highly touted running back, freshman. McCarthy we've talked about.
Yeah, Roman Wilson.
The ruling on the field is a catch for a first down. The previous play is under further review.
Andrew Anthony is a true freshman receiver who's been a big play weapon when he's been healthy this year.
I mean, a lot of these, Blake Corum, A.J. Henning, that's probably the area they've improved the most in the last 2 or 3 years is recruiting some speed.
Now in defense, they're going to have to replace a core of veterans. That's going to be the tricky part for the Wolverines. Step aside as they check out whether that was a catch or not. The Capital and Orange Bowl MVP and trophy presentations coming up after the game. And if you want to go to the CFP National Championship game presented by AT&T, you can do it with a playoff premium, the ultimate experience that offers prime seating, all-inclusive hospitality, various other amenities. Playoff-premium.com. Michigan still trying to find the end zone as a 1st and goal. Edwards, can he get the edge? No, turned back in by Walker. Finished off by Jackson.
Boy, that defense still flying to the football. Job getting off of blocks. Jackson in there has been in most of this game because Christopher Smith went out with that targeting call. He will be okay back for the championship game against Bama.
Dogs defensive starters still in the game. Intent on keeping the Wolverines out of the end zone. 2nd and goal. McCarthy slant bounced off the hands of Roman Wilson. Threw a fastball. See if we couldn't handle it.
Wilson came underneath the tight end. Selzer tried to use him, just kind of trying to set up a pick, but Georgia had pressure with the backers getting inside, but then they also had good job of squeezing with Quay Walker, the linebacker, and the safety coming in from behind too. They kind of sandwiched him there like a bracket.
Georgia making substitutions here on 3rd and goal. Kind of a lighter package. They bring pressure. McCarthy on the move, trying to make something happen with his legs. Now just fires into heavy traffic. It bounced off the hands of Wilson, and all had a chance to make a play, but it's 4th down.
McCarthy trying to wait to the last possible second, using every ounce of his athletic ability to keep that play alive. But there's Nakobe Dean maybe cramping. But the pride of the Georgia defense is on the line right now. Right? I mean, they've won the game. Nakobe Dean, they're blitzing and eventually gets to McCarthy. Walker gets in there as well. But you gotta love to see these. There's a hold he can get away with, but you gotta love to see both these teams competing with this game well out of reach.
Now Alabama didn't allow a touchdown to Cincinnati. You don't think Georgia's aware of that, trying to equal that feat? As it stands at the moment, with Wolverines facing a 4th and goal, both Alabama and Georgia would have gotten all the points they needed to win in their opening possession. Touchdowns for each. Goodyear in this beautiful night in South Florida, providing the aerial coverage with you for every mile on the road to greatness. Goodyear, more driven. Dean has had a terrific night. 7 tackles. Kirk, 2 of them behind the line of scrimmage. Had a sack, had a forced fumble.
Yeah, he was determined. He was determined to get this defense back on track after the Alabama game. It wouldn't have mattered who they were playing. It just happens to be Michigan. They've had a lot of time to prepare. He's the quarterback of the defense. Has done everything. He's blitzed. He's been in coverage. He knocks the ball loose. And most importantly, he gets them right. When I did a feature on Georgia's defense this year, and I sat around with 5 guys, and I said, what makes this defense right? And Nolan Smith looked at me and said, whatever he calls, we do. Pointing to Nakobe Dean, and meaning he's our guy. He's our alpha.
Here's what they've done tonight compared to Alabama. Dean, obviously a dangerous pass rusher, was never known as a great coverage linebacker, but he's worked so hard on that. He's the top-rated linebacker in coverage. You know, Dean gave up 61 yards in receiving all season. That's tremendous number for a linebacker.
And going back to your original point about it, that wasn't a strength of his.
No.
He worked with the defensive backs. Like, he worked to try to become a more complete linebacker, and obviously it's paid off.
And they find the end zone on 4th down. Edwards takes the backwards pass and nowhere to run. It was Dan Jackson there making a play, and there's some jawing going on as once again the Wolverines turn it over on downs and are kept out of the end zone. 7 minutes to play. But a night to remember, a first ever time he's played in Hard Rock Stadium. His high school team didn't make it into a game here. So Kendall Milton will tote the rock.
You and I were talking about that goal line stand and how, it's so, I love.
Is that 10-3 game?
It's 34-3, and you're like, well, the first team defense is still out there, and it's like the Kobe Dean. You can just feel like, no, we're not letting them in the end zone. Like it's like a 7-3 game in Georgia's defense's mind. It's always the mark to me of a great team that has a lot of pride.
Wounded pride, but they'll get a chance to atone for that against the Crimson Tide and have to do a much better job on Bryce Young this time. Allie, what do you have?
Well, guys, talking of New Year's resolutions, think about the resolution that this little boy made. Stetson Bennett's parents both graduated from Georgia. He's gone to hundreds of games there as a fan. When he was 3 years old, he told his dad, I'm going to be the quarterback at Georgia. Now, the odds on that were a long shot. He's always been undersized, but this kid has believed in himself. And after the last time they were in the playoff, when he was Baker Mayfield on that scout team, he told his dad, I want to go play. He did. He went to a small community college. He tore it up. He said, one morning I woke up on signing day and I had 4 missed calls from Kirby Smart. Now there he is.
But Holly, this was an automatic decision.
No,
he didn't think with his heart as much as it meant. He did his homework.
Holly, he was going to go to Louisiana. He's like, hey, if you're going to hold a scholarship, like, let me think about this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, what? A scholarship? I'm in. He's like, really? Huh. Let me.
It took a few hours.
Let me consider my options here. And then eventually he came back.
He didn't wait too long. He did call him back after a few hours.
Oh, by the way, they brought in other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You bring in J.T. Daniels, Dwan Mathis, who was a 5-star, came in.
Yeah, he knew Fields was leaving, but that wasn't the end of it. He had to beat out some talented players. Camarda hadn't had to do much tonight. Stands at his goal line and not his best effort. Rolls dead at the 49-yard line. Well, Saturday, January 8th, for the first time ever, ESPN's going to have Week 18 regular season doubleheader. NFL will still determine what games are going to be on that day. After the games on Sunday, we'll be honored to call one of those games. Coach Steve Lee, Lewis Riddick, Frank Greasy, Monday Night Team will call one of them. And for Super Wildcard Weekend, those guys will call a Monday night playoff game Monday, January 17th. All 3 games on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+. Part of our 4 games in 11 nights, which is a blast. Corum takes a huge shot, and the ball is knocked loose by Chaz Chambliss. Wow. Backups are in the game, but still playing hard.
Yeah, I mean, he's on the end of the line of scrimmage. Drifts out into the flat, has his tats out there on that right arm. He means business. He brings the hammer there.
Corum got tattooed. And the quarterback says, that's on me. I put you in a tough spot.
I think he thought it was man-to-man, but instead,
the previous play,
Chambliss just dropped.
Further review.
They're going to review this for targeting, perhaps, Bill Lamont. Yeah, they've stopped to look at it. I can't imagine what else they'd look at.
Yeah, he did dip his head down, so they're going to have to look now to see, did he keep it down?
I mean, I guess you have to take a look at that these days, right, Bill? And that looked like a great hit.
Targeting.
It was Christopher Smith in the first half, but again, he will not miss any of the championship game. That would not be the case for Chambliss, backup player.
That right shoulder.
Yeah, because when you dip the head, you use the crown.
Yeah.
You don't have to hit him in the head. You hit him in the body.
Yeah, of course, and that's for the defender.
He runs the risk of a neck injury.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying he's got to get that head on the side of the body and use that right shoulder. But man, gets it. I think that might have been one of his first plays.
Yeah. Yeah, had been the starters in there until that.
Yeah.
This current series. Here's Scott Campbell's
Result
verdict.
of the play is an incomplete pass, personal foul, targeting, defense, using the crown of the helmet, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Chandler's very much a role player, won't be able to participate in the first half of the championship game, and you're right, he hadn't had many chances to make a play. That big red mark from the helmet on the forehead.
Man, you imagine Chuck Cecil and Steve Atwater and those boys playing in the game today. They used to lead Sports Center, that hit.
No
now
doubt.
it's, and I get it. I'm just saying, now it's 15.
Ram Trucks post game coming up here on ESPN. A healthy look ahead at Georgia, Alabama. We can begin to shift our focus solely to that. There's plenty of history there. Plenty of plot lines. It's a 7-game winning streak for Bama head-to-head. Some celebrated victories according to the great championship game they played when Georgia had the lead until the final minute. Alabama tied it up. Of course, won it. Tua Tagovailoa played for the Dolphins. Devontae Smith in his freshman season with the game winner.
One of the gutsiest decisions I think I've ever seen in a national championship, whether it's football, basketball, whatever it might be, is Jalen Hurts was a quarterback that entire year and kind of struggling down the stretch of their season. And at halftime of the national championship, he puts in Tua and he brings them back, gets it to overtime, and eventually wins it.
McCarthy has a man wide open, and it's caught by Andrell Anthony, freshman to freshman, and finally, Wolverines find the end zone tonight. McCarthy's shown something and coming in a lost cause here. 35-yard touchdown.
Well, that'll drive Kirby Smart crazy. They brought a blitz, and the safety ends up getting out of position, but give Michigan credit for still fighting and coming up with their first touchdown of the night.
David Daniel, the guy that came in there, number 14. We haven't seen him much tonight, and they won't make it easy on him when they break down the tape of this game. Wolverines going for 2 here. There's the book saying you're down 35, you go for 2. Now some trickery. Henning on the end around, and he scores. Corum out there block. It was a good-looking 2-point play for the Wolverines. We'll check the touchdown pass to Anthony first.
Watch the corner come on the pressure. Now you've got a one-on-one matchup with the receiver against the safety. Anthony goes by him, little stutter and go. Like the corner there, Lassiter brought the heat. But just David Daniel kind of looked like he just got lost in space. It looked like he guessed maybe thought he had help behind. I don't know. But a mistake, and give Michigan credit. They take advantage of it, go for 2.
AT&T 5G pylon clam. Cam looking at Henning scooting in there. Nice block from Corum on the edge. Very frustrating night for this Michigan offense, but McCarthy has been a late bright spot. He's played with toughness and shown his talent. Wolverines next season don't have one of those non-conference tests. They'll play Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn before the Big Ten season starts. Get road games at Iowa, then back-to-back with Penn State. They have to visit both of their main rivals, Michigan State and Ohio State. In the even years, I should say. Onside kick look here from Moody, but he pooches it down there, and on the hop, Jackson fields it. Dial it back to Atlanta. It was must-win for Alabama, playing for everything. It wasn't for Georgia. Was that a determining factor, or was it just too much Bryce Young and Jamison Williams?
They're going to want to come up with a new answer to defend both of these young men. That big night for Bryce Young. He put that exclamation on to his Heisman campaign. But, of course, Jamison Williams, just a tough matchup. A lot of times they had him bracketed. They had him doubled, and he just ran through it, ran by it.
John Mechie was in that game. Then he got injured. He will not be available for the championship game. Alabama found its running game today against Cincinnati. Brian Robinson, a 200-yard game. But it's been lots of misery and heartbreak inflicted on Georgia by Alabama. Not just that game. And busting loose. It's a big run for Rajan Edwards, a fifth tailback to carry the ball tonight. I said it's a deep running back room. This guy can play for a lot of people, Edwards.
Well, not only that, you got backup offensive linemen, some of these linemen getting a chance, but that was great vision that time and patience for a guy that's been over there on the sideline just watching the game. Steps right in and instinctively just says, yeah, I'll come in here and carry the rock. Give me some yards.
31 of them. But the question is Alabama in Georgia heads? Is Nick Saban in Kirby Smart's head? Many around the program would say no, but it's a very real thing for the players.
Yeah. I would vote no. And I would almost give Georgia a psychological edge because of the loss in Atlanta and the attitude that they'll come into that game with. Instead of going into the first matchup, I think it was, can Bama match Georgia's intensity? And they did. Now I think it's going to be, I think Georgia goes in there anxious to kind of show that they can play with Alabama after the way that first game went. And they obviously can. And
you're right. You can't have a pat hand. There's going to be adjustments. What worked for Alabama didn't work for Georgia. You can expect plenty of adjustments and wrinkles. I just think the psychological thing is so intriguing. I mean, Georgia had Alabama beat in their backyard, let the game slip in regulation. Of course, lost in overtime after Tua was sacked for a 16-yard loss, just stands back there and heaves it to Smith. I mean, that was a gut punch. And we'll see if Georgia can overcome it and look like the team they've looked like in every other game, including tonight.
Yeah, until they do it, it's a fair point. Don't forget the other matchup that they had when Jalen Hurts came off the bench in the SEC championship game and made some plays. That was another game that Georgia pretty much controlled for 56 minutes of the game. So until you do it, people are going to question it.
Georgia was a solid favorite in that game in Atlanta and will open up, we think, a slight favorite over Alabama in Las Vegas. That'll hold up till kickoff. It looks like the Dogs will be a slight favorite.
The real question is, who will be consuming the most of the rat poison leading up to the game? Who's going to get patted on the back? Remember, Nick Saban made a big point of that after the win in Atlanta. Want to thank everybody for all their rat poison that they gave to Georgia instead of us.
That's a phrase he's used meaning praise. Rat poison is everybody says you're good. Everybody says you're going to win.
Yeah. They're never an underdog. Very rarely does he get to go into a game when they're expected to lose, and they showed up out to prove everybody wrong.
He's 4-0 against Smart. Jimbo Fisher, the first Saban former assistant to beat him head-to-head earlier this year. The one loss, of course, for the Crimson Tide.
The SEC, what were they, 1-5 in bowl games coming in? I think they coming into today.
South Carolina with the one win.
Yeah. Shane Beamer, congratulations on that win. But then they kind of flex their muscles, right? Alabama against Cincinnati.
I'd say so in the semifinals,
and Georgia tonight. Two most important games.
McConkey on the end around, lowers his head, lost the ball but was down before fumbling. Of course, clearly the two best teams in the conference. A&M played well. They couldn't field a team because of COVID for their bowl game. But no doubt there were some disappointments for this proud conference in bowl games.
Excited for the Rose Bowl tomorrow?
Very excited for that.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing the San Gabriel Mountains. Last picture I saw, they've had a lot of snow out there up in the mountains, so it'll be a beautiful
rain if that's cleared out. Beautiful weather. They'd be happy.
Yeah, I'm fired up, ready to go, man. That'll be fun
to see if the Buckeyes can match the Utes' fire. Ryan Dead says we'll find out if his team is inspired enough. The 4 opt-outs. $1 Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, Oklahoma State and the Fighting Irish. Marcus Freeman taking over as head coach. That's the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Rose Bowl comes along in the middle of the package there at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Baylor Ole Miss, we can kick back and watch that game.
Yeah, and don't forget, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Chris is familiar with this over the years. 10 a.m. I'll give you a little game day promo. We'll be out there in that corner of the Rose Bowl.
I remember
field.
that, yeah.
I remember many times we were out there, but we'll be out there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Nice and chilly, about 40 degrees.
Moral support for you there.
Yeah.
I'll watch with one eye open on the pillow.
Appreciate that. All right.
Well, there's Edwards. He's going to he's going to fight hard. I said tackle for a loss, but no, he makes a positive play out of it inside of 2 minutes to go here.
Love this guy. Well, if you're going to get a chance to come in and play, take advantage of it, right?
So you got a couple extra days of preparation. Here it is Friday night. Of course, the championship game a week from Monday. A lot of familiarity. I imagine they do a lot of self-scouting, look at what they've done and try to figure out what the other side's going to do differently for round 2.
They're going to be very, very familiar with each other. It's not like you're matching up with somebody like tonight from a different conference. They know each other, from working together, but just studying so much film of each other this year.
And Bill O'Brien, who calls the place, of course, for the Crimson Tide, basically just ignored the running game. Didn't try, except maybe to keep Georgia honest a little bit, but it was all about Bryce Young pitching it around. You wonder, will that be the game plan? Mechie's not there. They found a running game today.
And Chris, the other thing is the offensive line from Bama has had some issues most of this year, but that day against this defense, they played their best. They took care of Bryce Young, so that'll be a fun matchup too to see how does Kirby and Dan Lanning dial up a defense to try to affect Bryce Young and affect that offensive line of Alabama.
Kirby waved the finger. He says, I don't want a Gatorade bath. Don't you do it. It's a semifinal game. He's very concerned. He's going to call it a timeout with 15 seconds. I don't think he wants to get wet at this point.
What's he up to over there? He's
Holly, what do you got down there?
Well, Kirby Smart just got after his team and said, we're not doing that. We're not doing Gatorade baths after this game. We've got another game to worry about. We're not worried about this. Yep. We're going to look ahead. He just got on his guys.
Yeah, you're all over it, Holly. Yeah, he was not having it.
He's done that in the past, and he's dead serious.
Yeah.
Like, he's not being fun. Like, it's not happening. The Gatorade bath will not be happening.
You want to play in Indy.
Yeah.
Do not dunk that on.
We're not celebrating this.
Yep. See y'all in Indy. They had that ready. Yeah, the temptation was for this Georgia fan base that had a lot of swag when they don't play Alabama was that this was just a kind of a road bump, a speed bump. Get over this one. And you wondered if Georgia's players are feeling that. Did not look like it. They came in completely focused, spectacularly prepared, and executed really brilliantly from the start on both sides. Bennett going the whole distance. No kneel down. They hand it off to Kendall Milton. Well, to paraphrase the classic song penned by Willie Nelson, Georgia the whole night through, manhandling Michigan, dominating them from start to finish, and booking that revenge tour matchup, they hope, with Alabama in Indy. For Michigan, they deflate again to a superb season for Jim Harbaugh. Aiden Hutchinson off the Sunday stardom along with so many of these Michigan veterans on defense. 97 didn't get near 13 except the post-game handshake.
That's it. Georgia had a heck of a plan for not just Aiden Hutchinson, but for this Michigan defense. Keep saying Todd Monken's name, but he put it together. Threw for 332, ran for close to 200. Balanced attack, and again, Trayvon Walker in the defense all over the Wolverines offense. Domination, 14 points in the first quarter, and they didn't look back.
521 total yards. Dogs, emphatically, book a ticket to the championship game against Alabama. Tonight's game, produced by Bill Bunnell, directed by Derek Mobley. Appreciation for our entire crew here in South Florida. Back with much more. Time now for the Ram Trucks postgame show. You're back. You can see Nakobe Dean Giving an interview there as Jim Harbaugh quickly exits the stage. Let's go down to Holly with Kirby Smart.
Well, Coach Smart, you were very emphatic with your team. They tried several times to bring that Gatorade out, and you are not having it. Why not?
That's not what it's about right now. You know what I mean? I'm so happy for these kids. They fought their tail off, answer a million questions about our team, bouncing back and how you play. We got a lot of high character guys on this team, and they played their tail off today.
Your guys did have to answer a lot of questions. What did they answer on the field for you?
Well, we got a lot of courageous guys who fight their tail off, a lot of coaches, great organization. This is for the University of Georgia, and really the commitment these guys have shown over the last 3 weeks of working their tail off.
How does your belief in Stetson Bennett is paid off tonight?
Well, Stetson's a good football player. JT is too. We got two really good quarterbacks, and I think the country should know that. Stetson's made some really good plays with his feet. He's kept things alive. He's a good quarterback, but so is JT. We're very fortunate to have both of them.
Guys, now you have a rematch against Alabama. What do you have to fix to be successful there?
We got a lot of things to fix. We got to fix some of them over the break. They got about a 5-6 hour head start on us. We got to get back and get to work for what is a really good football team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Go Dogs.
See you in Indy.
Go Dogs.
I'm here with Stetson Bennett. Absolutely fantastic performance, young man. How do you describe what you and your teammates did tonight?
Yeah, it felt nice. It felt nice after that last game we had. We came out, executed, especially the first half. I mean, it felt awesome. There's not much else I can say. It was awesome.
It's obvious to me, having been in Athens so much this year, watching your teammates right now shout your name, how much they love you. What has this journey been like for you, Stetson?
Man, you know, you just put your head down to your work every single day. And, you know, there's a lot of words coming out from other people, but these dudes right here, they never say anything. They just come to work every single day, and they got my back, and it makes it really easy.
You guys get one more shot at Alabama. What is this team's ceiling?
Hopefully to win it. I don't know. I mean, I think we're good enough. Obviously, they're a great team. But, yeah, we're going to enjoy this one tonight and then start preparing for them tomorrow.
Tremendous performance, young man. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Holly?
Well, Nakobe Dean, you were all over the field. You said you wanted to get right back on the field after that last loss. How did this really manifest itself tonight?
Yeah, it's just the work we put in. You know, I feel like we got better over the last 3 weeks, focusing on ourselves and focusing on our opponent. We just, the team works hard, and you know, hard work works.
Coach said that you guys have to take a hard look in the mirror and see what has to get fixed against Alabama now. What are some of those things that you felt like you fixed tonight that will be better going forward?
A lot of things. Every facet of the game, I felt like a lot of younger guys got better over these last 3 weeks. And I feel like we was able to get better over these last 3 weeks just working together. So I feel like in every facet of the game, we got to get better these next 2 weeks and just work.
A young man from Horn Lake, Mississippi. What's going to be like to play for a national championship next week?
You know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing that I'm in this position. And I appreciate you giving a shout out to Horn Lake and Tunica, Mississippi. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next week. Chris, back to you.
He's very proud of his home state, I'll tell you that.
You see that smile? See that smile on his face when she mentioned his hometown.
But it's the complicated sentiments of a semifinal winner. This is deeply satisfying. They got the bad taste of that loss in Atlanta out of the mouth, and they beat a good football team like a drum tonight. But it doesn't win a championship. And for the Georgia Bulldogs, anything short of a national championship, frankly, is a disappointment. And you got big, bad Bama waiting, right? Would you agree?
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Talk more about the championship matchup and put a punctuation mark on this emphatic Orange Bowl victory tonight when we come back.
Ram Trucks Postgame is brought to you by Ram Trucks, J.D. Power's #1 brand in new vehicle quality.
It's not the ultimate trophy, but there is an Orange Bowl trophy and a whole bunch of real Florida oranges, which I predict will be thrown around pretty soon. Capital and Orange Bowl presentation, public address announcer John Magrino.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the field as Jack Seiler, Orange Bowl Committee President and Chair, takes the stage for the Capital One Orange Bowl trophy presentation.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Reese Davis from ESPN. Thank you for your support of the Capital One Orange Bowl, and certainly we thank Capital One for their support of college football. Congratulations to Michigan. Wolverines had a wonderful season. But tonight in this stadium, my friends, it was time once again to let the big dogs eat, and they certainly did. To make the first presentation tonight, please welcome the President and Chair of the Orange Bowl Committee, Mr. Jack Seiler. Jack, you make the presentation.
Well, thank you. And on behalf of the Orange Bowl Committee, the Capital One Orange Bowl, and the College Football Playoff, congratulations to both these outstanding institutions on an incredible season. How about a round of applause for both teams tonight? And now on behalf of the playoff semifinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl, I am pleased to present head coach Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs with our trophy tonight. Coach, congratulations.
Kirby, the red and black confetti is flying, the oranges are here. Coming off of the last few weeks and what you guys had to face, what was it that led to such a focused and brilliant and dominant performance tonight?
It's one word for us: connection. Our kids know if we stay connected, we're really hard to beat. And I thought the focus and concentration over the last couple weeks of practice, all our guys did was work. And when you're connected, we know we're much better together.
What was an example of that connection that you saw in the early part of the game when you really took control?
Well, a lot of perimeter blocking. You know, I thought our wideouts made some plays down the field. I thought our offensive line did a tremendous job. But when you're selfless outside and your defensive line, look at the guys up front that 8 blocks so Nakobe, Quay, Chaney could make plays. I thought our front controlled the line of scrimmage. I thought our offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. That's a total team effort.
In the playoff era, you're taking a team to the championship game for the second time. A familiar foe awaits. What's the significance of getting back to the title game and having another shot at Alabama?
Well, when you get back to the title game, it's always a big game, right? Regardless of who you're going to play. That's one of our SEC foes. We think we play in the greatest conference in the world. We got an opportunity to go play a really good football team in Indianapolis, and we got all these people over here behind us, and we know they're going to be in Indy with us. So we're bringing all the Dog Nation with us.
Kirby, congratulations. Terrific performance. Kirby Smart, head coach of the Dogs, champions of the Capital One Orange Bowl. Now, let's honor our players of the game. First, the Capital One Orange Bowl Offensive Player of the Game, the quarterback of the Dogs, Stetson Bennett. Stetson, over 300 yards. Terrific offensive performance. After what you guys had to deal with the last few weeks and the questions that you faced and handled, what's the significance of getting Georgia to a national championship game for you?
You know, we don't worry about that in our locker room. Each and every day these guys come out there and they work their butts off. We knew we were better than what we showed last game, and we just came and worked every single day. And I love these dudes, man. God, I love them. God, what a win. What a win. Go Dogs.
What was your favorite moment of this game tonight?
Probably when Cook slipped that linebacker and took it for about 40.
Now, before we started here, you almost threw all of the oranges out in the crowd. I'm giving you permission now. Chuck, you've completed everything else tonight. You might as well complete a few more. Hey, let's bring in Kirby, save a few for Darian Kendrick, our defensive player of the game. Darian Kendrick had a couple interceptions tonight. Darian, you guys did not want Michigan to get in the end zone. They got a late one. What was so important about establishing your will and keeping them out until the waning stages of the game?
I just say just sticking together. We always talk about connection each and every day, and this is a brotherhood. They brought me in when I came in, and they never gave up on me, and so I worked for them.
You had the opportunity to play at Clemson. Now you're playing at Georgia, another opportunity to go and play in a national championship game. What does that mean to you?
That's God. I just say he put me in a position to win, and I just get all the grace to him, and then just play for my teammate. The University of Georgia gave me a chance, and I'm gonna give them all I got.
You intercepted a couple passes tonight. Go ahead and throw some oranges out here. Don't hurt anybody. Darian Kendrick, the defensive player of the game. Georgia on the way to the national championship game. And if you want an orange, Chris, you better get it fast because they are going in a hurry.
Can you get it all the way up here, Reese? We're open. Kendrick loves semifinal games. He had a huge game for Clemson against Ohio State. And about 9 tackles, broke up a couple of passes, and 2 picks tonight. You could spread the love around.
Big fella.
Played great. Big fella Davis in the middle.
Jalen Carter.
Walker.
Rayvon Walker. I think they're happy, but they know there's unfinished business, right?
Indeed. That is the fate of the semifinal winners when they know that Alabama waits. Let's get the Michigan side of things. Marty with Jim Harbaugh.
Coach, it wasn't your night, but what an amazing season for the Michigan Wolverines. When you look at this year, how do you define what you and your team did?
Great season. Really proud of our guys. I mean, even with the score lopsided, still they were having fun fighting, and I was right next to them. But it wasn't our night. They were the better team tonight.
How should this team be remembered?
This is the start. As we just talked about in there, the team's not going to be the same next year, but it's a start. It's one of the, I know in Michigan history, believe it's one of the best teams ever. I know it is right in there. So it's a beginning, onward.
You say right in there. I know what those young men in that locker room mean to you. They allowed you to silence a lot of people who didn't believe. What does that mean to you?
They're fighters. The way they train, the way they play, means everything. Means everything. Those are my friends.
I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you so much. Great season, Coach.
Marty, thank you. He told his team before the season, there's no buzz. Let's bring the buzz back from Michigan. They did that all the way up until this game. Georgia owned the buzz tonight, but Harbaugh believes they can build on this in terms of Big Ten SEC in the playoff. 3-1 now for the SEC. You get the All-SEC championship game. Ram Trucks bring you that look at the head-to-head history of these two proud conferences.
We had so much time to talk about Georgia, and we should. That was a great performance, dominating both sides of the ball. But I was glad that we had a chance to hear from Jim Harbaugh. A chance for him to kind of capture the night and tip his cap to Georgia, and at the same time talk about what his team means to him. So Michigan onward, as he says.
Indeed. Can we get a championship game a week from Monday as good as the one that was played 4 seasons ago? Remember, Georgia led by 13 midway third quarter. Fromm to Mecole Hardman, but Alabama would battle back. They would score late, and then this after a 16-yard loss to Devontae Smith, the eventual Heisman Trophy.
Some guy named Devontae Smith. I mean, that was just a great game. And then it follows up the SEC championship game.
Yeah, very next season. You talked about Jalen Hurts, heroics.
Off the bench.
Coming in off the bench, running in a 7-point victory. And then, of course, the game we talked about 4 weeks ago in Atlanta, it was all dogs early. I mean, it's 10-0 early second. And then Bryce Young to Jamison Williams turned everything around. And Georgia's defense did not have the answers that night. As he said, a lot of things to fix to get ready for the rematch. Let's see, we got about 45 minutes left in 2021. We'll see if we can get on the plane to Pasadena before the stroke of midnight.
I forgot it was New Year's Eve. Except, thank goodness for these.
You know the Rose Bowl's tomorrow, though. You remember
I do
that
know
part?
that. I'm locked in on this and the Rose Bowl. Those are my two things.
Well, on that midnight plane back to Georgia, it's going to be a muted celebration, deep satisfaction, all the hard work, the preparation that they talked about paid off, but the ultimate challenge for the ultimate prize awaits, and more work to be done.
I honestly think Georgia wouldn't want it any other way. I think we can talk about, can they climb the mountain? Can they knock off Nick Saban and Alabama? But if you talk to those players and that head coach and those assistants, this is who they want. They're glad Alabama's in the national championship, and they get a chance, as N'Kobe Dean said to you, a second chance. They got it tonight. We'll see if they can take advantage of it up in Indianapolis.
Now, if you're Alabama and you know how comprehensive the performance was when you were a must-win, when you were the big underdogs and Georgia was expected to steamroll you, how does Saban and Alabama handle round two?
You know how they are. I mean, they're it's just preparation. You know, it's not getting caught up in the emotion. This will be, it's not a decisive, like when they went to Atlanta, it was everybody thinking Georgia's going to win the game except Lee Corso. This is going to be more, some people think Georgia, some people are going to think Alabama. So I think it's just going to come down to who's better prepared and who goes out and executes.
Of course, they couldn't have gotten the rematch if they hadn't played well tonight. And you saw some smiles from Kirby Smart. Satisfied Georgia Bulldogs. They came out, scored in their first 4 possessions. Stetson Bennett was brilliant, directing the offense, throwing the ball, running when he needed to.
Yeah, he sure did. And I think another little wild card is both these head coaches, there's so much familiarity with this routine of playing in a semi, getting ready for the national championship. So I think there's no advantage there.
So the 2 semifinals were blowouts, but it sets up what we hope will be another classic national championship game between SEC rivals Georgia and Alabama. January 10th, Monday night, a week from now in Indianapolis, presented by AT&T. For Holly and Marty, Chris and Kirk saying so long. SportsCenter coming up right now.